Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manopara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults, plus the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults, plus the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please stand for His Worship the Mayor?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. Welcome to tonight's Ordinary Council meeting. I'll open the meeting at 7:01, and I'll call for the attendance record. Do we have any apologies? I've received one apology from Councillor Carlson. Is there any other apologies? We'll say Councillor Craig at this point is not present. Okay, now, councillors, as you would know, over the last 48 hours, there's been the tragic loss of life and the very heinous terrorist acts that occurred at Bondi Beach in Sydney. And as you know, that many councils across the country and others are paying their respect to those that have sadly lost their lives. And I know that many of you are deeply concerned, like I am, of that tragic event and what has occurred that has affected communities going about their way of celebrating their end of the year and the special religious holiday of Hanukkah. And I know Councillor Onyazans had raised with me today what the City of Playford would do in relation to this tragedy and of course in other tragedies that we have seen previously, and that we have had our minute silence. So I'll seek leave of the meeting for the City of Playford this evening that we observe 1 minute silence for the victims and those that have suffered a great tragic loss from this terrible loss of life at Bondi Beach on New South Wales on the 14th of December 2025. So I'll seek leave. Is leave granted? There's no objection. Councillor Rendell, so you're happy to say? Yeah. I'm not getting any objection, so I'll take leave as granted. So I'll ask all that are able, if you're able to join me, and please stand as we observe a minute of silence for those that have lost their lives in this tragedy. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. Thank you for honouring and marking that respect here at the City of Playford. And the City of Playford would also like to acknowledge all of those first responders, community members and all of those that have bravely defended their communities and have sought to assist those that were either injured or killed in this tragic event, and who will do so for the days, weeks and years going forward. So thank you for marking that respect, ladies and gentlemen. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll now move to item 2, which is the confirmation of minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 25th of November 2025 be confirmed as true and accurate record of proceedings. Does someone wish to move that way? Councillor Tarr. Happy. Don't wish to speak. Councillor Norris.
Yep, happy to second. Don't wish to speak.
Thank you. Are there any other councillors wishing to speak? If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. We move to item 3, declarations of interest. Are there any? No. Then we move to item 4, Mayor's report. There'll be a number of items on the screen. I won't go through them. Obviously, it's a very busy time of year. End of school year graduations, a number of Christmas and celebratory events, a number of presentations, a variety of different community facilities and end-of-year occurrences. I'll put them all in the minutes, but I won't go through each one that is there, except for say that it was wonderful that for the 14th year, the City of Playford was able to once again do the Give the Gift of Reading program here at our Playford Library Service. Many of you would be aware that that program started here at the City of Playford, which is a contribution and connection between the City of Playford and Anglicare SA, where community members donate books for babies, toddlers, teenagers and adults to give to a family in need at Christmas time. And this year, 831 books were received by community members, which is fantastic. And you would all recall from last year, in our 13th year, we were able to tip over the 10,000th book donated by our local community, which is a great testament to the character and building of our local community. So that's my Mayor's report, and that will be on the screen and in the minutes for your perusal. So we'll go to item 5, reports of representatives of council on other organisations. Are there any? No. We go to item 6, reports by councillors. Any reports? Councillor Smiljanic.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. I just wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This is the last council meeting for 2025. It's been a great year. We've achieved a lot, and I just want to wish everyone a safe Christmas and a safe holidays, and I'll see you next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other council reports? Councillor Small-Smith.
Thank you, Your Worship. I forgot one of the most important events of the year, and that was the Christmas carols. Could I please have that added in? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Small-Smith. We can add that. Are there any other reports by councillors? No. We move to item 6.1, information session and record of attendance, which you'll see in your agenda papers. We move to item 7, reports of representatives, conferences and training programs. Are there any councillor reports on that? If not, there is a report from myself. As the City of Playford representative, I attended the National Growth Areas Alliance Federal Roundtable meetings, the National Growth Areas Alliance Annual General Meeting and Advocacy Meeting, and the National Growth Areas Alliance 2025 Annual Awards presentation at Parliament House, Canberra on November 26, 2025. This was an opportunity for NGAA members to come together to have roundtable meetings with about half a dozen mayors and the direct minister or public servant in relation to a number of areas. It was a great opportunity to not only attend those roundtable meetings, but also to host one of those as well. So there was roundtable meetings that occurred with the Honourable Christy McBain MP, the Minister for Regional Development, Local Government and Territories, Elizabeth Watson-Brown MP, the Green Spokesman for Transport, Josh Burns MP, the Special Envoy for Social Housing and Homelessness, Simon Kent from the Office of Senator Jess Welsh, who is the Minister for Early Childhood Education, and Senator Ellie Whittaker, the Senator for Western Australia. An opportunity to have quite in-depth conversations with those ministers and their representatives to talk about the growth area issues in a variety of different manners, about the key issues facing our communities. There was also the annual general meeting and advocacy meeting and the awards dinner. The National Growth Areas Alliance also launched their most recent study paper, which is Beyond Bricks, Delivering the Housing We Need Sooner in Australia's Growth Areas. and this is the Housing Policy Position Paper, which outlines the needs of local governments across the National Growth Area Alliance membership, particularly around upfront infrastructure for roads, transport, making sure there's appropriate water connections, etc., all the things that we face here at the City of Playford and a number of other local governments around the country as well. We were also a finalist at the National Growth Areas Alliance Annual Awards Dinner in the category of collaborative, collaborative impact, and that was for our great work in working with the number of partners for the Riverlea District Sporting Level Complex and Community Facility. The rest of the training report you can find on the website, but that was the one-day event that I attended in Parliament House in Canberra representing you. So that's my training and conference report for the Council. So councillors, will now move on to item 8, questions on notice. We've got some questions on notice from Councillor Rentoulis, and you can see all of those items in the agenda paper and the accompanying responses. We'll go to item 9, questions without notice. Are there any questions? Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Can staff provide a progress update on the concept design and upgrade of Heasup Road in Anglevale? Can staff provide a progress update on the concept design and upgrade of Heasup Road in Anglevale?
Thank you, Councillor March. You can come forward.
Through the Chair, the concept design is progressing. DIT are to provide comments back to us this week on some of the more significant comments they made on that design, and then we'll progress it further next year.
Thank you, Mr. Richter. Thank you. Are there any other questions? Councillor Kerrison.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. Just wondered if I could have an update for the record tonight for the One Tree Hill Cemetery, the upgrade and progression on the cemetery, and also the planned progression on the Yulee Road Cemetery update as well. Thank you.
Ms. Minson.
Thank you, through the Mayor. Designs are progressing for the One Tree Hill Cemetery upgrade. We received the 70% design today, actually, so that has been circulated for review and comment, and we'll seek to close out that detailed design in the new year. Sorry, was there a second part, Councillor?
Yeah, the second part was the Yulee.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Again, through the Chair, thank you. We are progressing also with design for the Yulee Road Cemetery. We are investigating some signage options, and the team is working through the historical content that will be placed on that. The most recent meeting on that was last week. We met with a very interested local resident who has a huge amount of data and history on that site, and shared with him so far the design we've got. Again, we are intending to construct that this financial year.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Councillor Halls.
Thank you, Your Worship. I've got a couple of questions. First, I'd like to know, have we got a plan for hot weather over the Christmas break for our homeless people? And the second question is, can we get an update on where we're at, or a progress report on Eastern Park Football Club rooms, please?
All right, we'll take the first question first. So you're talking about the question over plans for hot weather over Christmas break for homeless people in the City of Playford. Ms Hudson.
Through the Chair. We don't have a specific plan at the moment. The team are considering it, noting that many of our facilities are closed over the Christmas period, so we'll liaise with the state government.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And the second question in relation to the Eastern Park Football Club club rooms progress report. Mr. Richter.
Through the Mayor, thanks for the question. We are progressing that project. It is moving into detailed design.
Thank you. One last question I have got is, can staff inform the council as to whether we're fire safe as far as all our mowing and dead grass is concerned around Playford? Please.
I'm presuming you're meaning on council property?
Yes.
Mr Welsh.
Through the Mayor, I can't answer specifics on exactly where we're up to, but I understand that our program is on track for what's expected this time of year to prepare for fire season, yes.
And we have plans for those areas that we don't get to in time in case there's a fire?
When you say we have plans, sorry?
We have emergency plans in place for if there's a fire?
Yes.
In those areas?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr Welsh. Are there any other councillors wishing to ask a question? If not, then I'm presuming that Councillor Marsh, Councillor Kerrison and Councillor Halls would like their questions and their accompanying responses called in the minutes. Councillor Marsh, you happy to move that way? Councillor Kerrison, you happy to second that one? Second that? I'm presuming you don't wish to speak, either of you. Any other councillor wishing to speak? If not, then I'll put those in favour. Those against, I declare that carried. We then move on to item 10, which is petitions which are nil. Move to item 11, deputations, representations. We have 3 deputations this evening, councillors. Our first deputation, item 11.1, is a deputation on the future of Midway Road Community House by Mr Peter Mantoul. Peter, are you here? Yes, you are. Mr Mantoul, please come on down to the lectern here.
So here we go. Everybody hear me, please?
We can hear you, Peter. So I am just required to give you a little bit of a spiel. I know that you have received this from our staff earlier, but thank you for your deputation. Your deputation has been received. So you have 5 minutes for your deputation this evening, or up to 5 minutes, I should say. If you're still going at the 4-minute mark, I'll give you a 1-minute warning to say that you've got a minute left.
Thank you.
Your time will start when you start speaking. There is a bottle of water there if you need it. At the conclusion of your deputation, there may be some questions from the councillors.
Sure.
So please stay at the lectern until I sort of dismiss you, if I can use that language, and it will be over to you when you're ready to start.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone, for having us here tonight. Midway Road Community House has existed for 42 years, slightly longer. It's been part of Elizabeth for a significant period of Elizabeth's history. Elizabeth, as you will know, began back in 1955 as a satellite city. The house that Midway Road occupies was purchased back in 1959 from the Housing Trust and eventually passed from the hands of those people to the Uniting Church Property Trust in 1981, and at that point Midway Road was incorporated as a body and started to try and serve the community in as many ways as it could from that point forward, while leasing the property that it occupied. In 1992, the Uniting Church were looking to divest themselves of that property, and Midway Road, with the assistance of the community, became owners of the property to the point of 50% ownership. 25% ownership at the end of that process was to the Uniting Church Property Trust still, and 25% to the United Way. Midway Road, as part of that process, borrowed money and used that money to clear the ownership figure for the United Way, and then therefore moved on with 3/4 of the ownership of the property. Midway does a lot of things within the community. As you understand, living where you live and being part of this council, there are a large number of people that live within our community who struggle financially, emotionally, often with nowhere to go to assist them. Many of them come to us. We have a continual movement of people through the house, and many of them have found a place to be, if I could use that word, with us. They come regularly, some only now and again when they need us or feel they need us very personally, and we offer whatever help we can, which includes, in today's world, food, clothing. In one particular instance, we actually found a tent for a homeless person, so they had a home, inverted commas, a roof over their head. We do things like that on a regular basis. We offer a lot of programs, or have done over a very long period of time, but things like computing skills, language skills. We've actually had an ESL program at Midway for almost its entire history. We run community garden on the property. We have run a whole lot of sustainability workshops for people, trying to assist them in the way they live in their normal lives. But they can come with us and they grow vegetables. They take those vegetables home. They do lots of things from that perspective. We have craft workshops. We run a Friday coffee club. We have a children's play group. There was a time when we ran childcare, but that has gone. It became too financially difficult for us to do such a thing. But we have knitting and crochet classes. We have basic technology support sessions. We have a computer room that people can use, and we do run sessions in there. And at the moment, we're running basic English classes again still. We've also run a basic living program, or living skills program, for about 30 odd years, but that has ceased because the party that used to do it for us is no longer well enough to do it. On top of that, we also have Grow mental health programs that happen at the house.
1 minute.
Thank you. We have Grow mental health programs that happen at the house, and we also run Alcoholics Anonymous programs at the house, all of those on a weekly basis. Our finances have been supported by DHS for many, many years and continue to be, but that money covers really only our coordinator and nothing else. So our operating costs have to come from somewhere, and we struggle constantly, and have done for all of the time we've been in existence, to meet whatever bills we have. Sometimes we have significant bills, and of course, as you would understand, with an old house, things go wrong at times, and we've had to pay significant amounts of money at time to deal with that. A lot more people coming to the house for food assistance, but a lot of people wanting to come to us just to be part of what we do. I've wrote this on a piece of paper the other day, but we believe we bring a very strong human and social value to our community. We don't believe that should be allowed to disappear. And what we need is your help to do such a thing.
That's your 5
minutes.
Thank you. Yep. I suspect there'll be a number of questions, Peter, or people want to ask a bit more to thresh out. So just stay there. We'll start off with Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, Mayor, I'm happy to move if he can be given another 5 minutes to finish off his deputation thing, please.
Does that find a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Onyazans. You wish to speak, Councillor Onyazans? Any other councillor wish to speak? No, so we have a motion that Mr Mantell has given up to 5 minutes, up to 5 minutes to continue his deputation. So if there's no other speakers on that, I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. So Peter, you can continue.
Thank you very much for that. Greatly appreciated. We've developed very recently developed a relationship with the kindergarten that has just been built across the road from us. In fact, one of the people that manages one of the programs there has actually become part of our committee, management committee, and she has indicated, and we've realised this as part of the process, that the fact that we have a childcare group, the fact that we have a play group on our property has been very helpful, particularly with children with English as a second language, with those children coming to us to spend time with us in advance of them going into kindergarten. It has actually helped with the transition of those children moving into a kindergarten space. So again, this is something that we do. Like I said before, financially, We have struggled. We've had some huge bills at different times along the way. Our coordinator that we had up until the middle of last year retired, and as part of that process, we had to pay out all of the benefits that that person was due. But that brought about for us a BAS payment in September of $17,000, when normally our BAS payment would only be about $5.5. So that has made a significant dent in our finances in the short term. Attempting to prepare for such moments is very difficult for us for, again, the same reason as I'm standing here. We struggle to gain finance to do the things we want to do. We don't have anything to sell. And if we wanted to sell anything to the people that come and talk to us and spend time in our presence and come to us for support, they don't have the money to pay us to spend $12,000 on a BAS statement. They simply don't have that sort of money. So this is part of what we struggle with. We had a broken water pipe very recently. It cost us $4,000 out of pocket that we weren't expecting to fix that problem. So these are moments that have brought us to this moment financially. These are some of the things that have caused us to be in the position where we come to you and ask for some money. We need that money to continue to do the things that we do. And being what we are, we don't have the capacity to earn that money for ourselves. What monies we do get paid go to specific things, and grants that we get in the vast majority of circumstances, almost never any alternative, are only able to be spent on a particular project, whatever that project happens to be. It might be, in one case, some years ago, we were able to put solar on the property because we gained a grant for that. Cannot be used for any other thing. So this is where we stand at this time. We are stuck. We have nowhere that we can go. And as I said, we know we're needed in this place, and that's because of the many people that come to us on a daily basis to be part of the place that we provide for them. That's the point of the exercise. I can remember years ago talking to some students about why they wanted to train people. And I said, what do you think you're doing when you're training them? And they said, oh, we're giving them knowledge, we're giving them information, we're giving them some skills, we're pointing them to a career path. And I said, think bigger than that. And at the end of the day, my statement to them was, you are advancing mankind, if only by that much. We are advancing the dignity and the humanity of the people we deal with on a daily basis, doing what we do, if only by that much. Thank you.
1 minute. You've still got 57 seconds if you wish to use it.
Thank you. Nia?
Okay, no worries. So we'll use the 51. That's fine. We'll go to some questions. Councillor Spalding-Smith.
Thank you, Your Worship. With your indulgence, I have several questions I'd like to ask Mr Mantle, and I want to say all of these questions are without bias. I've heard some rumours around the room which I don't like, and I, as a councillor, have every right to ask these questions because this is ratepayers' money we're dealing with. So with your indulgence, I'd like to do these questions. My first question, Mr Mantle, is can you please tell us who is responsible for the effective administration of the Midway Road Community House, for example, the leadership team and management committee?
Do you need names, or do I just tell you?
No, just a brief overview.
We have a management committee with a chairperson and various members, and we have treasurer, whatever, the normal roles that would exist in such a circumstance. And that group of people are responsible for the overall management of the circumstance. They are the people that do those things. We have a finance officer as well, and we have a treasurer as part of the process.
Thank you. My second question is, what are the sources of funding for the Midway Road Community House, for example, federal or state funding, donations from the community?
Okay. We receive, as I think I mentioned earlier, funding from the Department of Human Services on a yearly basis, and that funding goes directly to payment for the part-time coordinator that we have at the house. And she is responsible for the day-to-day operation of the house and for perhaps any new initiatives that might come along in terms of offerings to the community, and also managing feedback from the community about what offerings we might present to them going forward.
Oh, that actually answers my next one, because it was going to be, what are these funds used for? And you've just explained that.
And that's
so
primary. That's specifically what they're used for.
Thank you.
They're not used for operational costs.
Right.
They do not cover those things.
You are seeking funding from the City of Playford to cover operational costs of the Midway Community House. And can you please explain to us what comes under the banner of operational costs? Okay,
it would be insurance, for example. Our insurance bill this year was $6,900, a significant amount of money, and something we've been able to pay with the help of a small grant, which we managed to receive a little while back. But where do we go from there? The policy is renewable in May, and we pay $600 odd a month, nearly $700 a month for that. That's just one thing. Electricity bills, we don't have gas bills. What else do we pay for? Let me think. God, our council rates. We have things like hygiene in the place, because we have public coming and going. We have to manage those things, and we have a contract for that. We have security on the property. You would recognise that the location of the property is not ideal, and certainly in the circumstances of our community, there are some risks, physical risks, that are associated with that property. So we manage that. That's a monthly charge that comes, and all of this contributes to the position that we are in at the moment, has constantly done so, along with, as I said, those one-off moments that come along. A few years back, we had a situation where we had a blocked toilet. When we investigated that, that blocked toilet was found to be caused by a completely collapsed sewer drain. What we then had to do was have that sewer drain lined. We paid $7,500 out of pocket, and that was a discount. It was actually a $10,000 job. So it's cumulatively those outcomes that have brought us to this moment.
Thank you.
You know, honest attempts to hold money but not be able to collectively.
Thank you. I think you've answered the next question. It was, why has the budget position become so perilous? But you've just answered that for me. In the minutes from the Management Committee meeting, it states that the former coordinator, when she was left, there were leave entitlements were required to be paid out, and I know you've done that.
Yes.
Were members of the Management Committee aware that employees are legally required to pay the leave entitlement of an ex-employee when they depart a place of employment? Were you aware of that?
Yeah, we were aware of that, and we believed we had the funds associated with that appropriately. But we also then ended up with, as I think I mentioned in my speech earlier, that we ended up with a BAS bill of $17,000 that was tied to that. Almost impossible for us to have funded the position that we needed to be in to cover such a cost. But we had the cash. What it's done is take away what we might have used moving forward, if that makes some sense. So we've had to bring forward expenditure associated with that.
Did the Leadership and Management Committee, who oversee the effective operation of the Midway Road Community House, ensure that contingency measures were in place to cover cost of employing people, including severance payments from then on?
We are doing such a thing at this time, yes.
Okay, fantastic. And should the City of Playford ratepayers be confident and satisfied that if funds are provided to the Midway Road Community House, that further financial assistance will not be required?
I cannot guarantee that forever. What I can say is, were we to be given funds that would support us at this point for the next 12 months, then that would put us in a position whereby we would be looking much safer moving forward. And what that would also allow us is the time to both evolve what it is we offer people and maybe return some funds from that process, but, you know, maybe not a lot, but at the same time deal with greater efficiency within what we do. As an example, we now have solar system on the roof, so that assists us enormously with our electricity costs. Our electricity costs used to be something like $2,000 or $3,000 a year. Those costs now are down to maybe 1/3 of that. So it's that sort of thing. We've also then, through a grant, put in brand new air conditioning, which is far more cost efficient, and that has contributed to that reduction in electricity costs. So there are things of that nature that we do. We've also tried to educate everybody that comes to the place to help us make sure that money is not wasted, so lights turned off, all of those sorts of things. In addition to that, as I said, we've bought a fridge that is far more efficient than the one we had. It was nearly 20 years old and it was about to die anyway. So there are things like that that we've moved towards over the last 3 or 4 years to attempt to put us in a position where we save money, don't waste money.
Excellent. One final question, if I may.
Yes.
Should the council approve the $30,000 that you're looking for, how far into the future will that take you before you get some grants or some other money?
Again, I'll come back to what grants are, but it depends on the grant we get. We applied to council for operational funding earlier in the year, but were unsuccessful with that. Most of the grants, as I think I mentioned to you earlier, that come to us are only for specific things. They may be for an event, they may be for a specific physical activity. For example, at the moment we have a grant outstanding with the Julia Farr Foundation, and we're waiting on a response to that so we can put in a disability access ramp in the front of the building. It's not something we have had the funds to be able to do in the past, and may never have the funds to do, given, you know, our normal circumstances. So a lot of what gets done in the place gets done by people who volunteer time and labour and so forth. Just again, as a small example, in the not too distant future, I'm going to be connecting a water pump up to the tanks we have so that we can water our gardens with rainwater rather than with tap water. But I'll do that for free because we just don't have the money to pay a plumber to do such a job. Very fortunately, I have the skills to do such a thing. So this is the direction we will head in. I guarantee you whatever money council chooses to give us, we will treat it with the respect it deserves. We are not wasteful people. We've managed to live on the smell of an oily rag for 42 years. I'd like to think we can do something reasonable with money like that if you were to choose to give it to us.
Thank you very much for answering my questions.
That's fine. Thank you for your questions.
Councillor Tarr.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your deputation. It was really informative and great for you to be here. I have a question. Have you applied through council for a hardship policy?
We have not done that, and honestly, we were not aware that we might be able to do such a thing. But, you know, whatever is possible is something we'd be happy to consider or work with. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Mr Mentel? Councillor Arifi.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Thanks, Peter, for your presentation. Just in relation to your funding request, have you approached any other governments, state or federal, for funding?
Not as yet, no, we have not. We've had a long relationship with council. Council have helped us in certain circumstances in the past, but they've always been good supporters of us, promoted us well, so that everybody knows that, or many people know that these facilities that we provide are available to them. So we've always been grateful for that. But no, at this moment we have not. Council is in principle first cab off the rank. But in the past we have had conversations with, for instance, DHS, but the funding they provide for us is the way I've explained it to you before. So there may be no real options for us down that particular path.
And you mentioned about council rates. Can staff please advise if the community fund, if they pay any council rates on their property?
Say again, please.
I'll get that question answered. If there's any other questions for Mr Mental first, then we can get that one answered of the staff. Are there any other... So you don't have to answer that question.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Mr Mantell? Councillor Kerrison.
Thank you, Mr Mantle, for your presentation. Obviously, I think it's a very valuable service that you provide, great community benefit, and I think I had a friend of mine use the services back in the late 80s, 90s, so I think it's a value service that we would like to see maintained. I do often believe that I question, what is the responsibility of ratepayer and what is the responsibility of the state. So we do need to be clear at those points, but I think the importance of this is very critical. One thing I did notice on your information was the significant drop in grant income from 2024, 159,000 to 125,000 in 2025. Are you able to give me any information on how that occurred and the impact that's had upon you?
It may well have been simply that we either did not receive grants that we might have asked for, or we were not aware of some in that particular year that may have been available to us, and so we did not apply for those. But grant income varies year on year, and honestly, from our perspective, certainly from mine, because I help write grant applications as a matter of normal course, if I could use the expression, it's a crapshoot. You hope you are considered well when you do this. You put forward the case you can in line with what you do, some of the things you've heard me say here, because those things are always asked of you when you do a grant. But in the end, you have no idea whether you're likely to be successful or not, and a number of times in the years that I've been involved with the House, and that's 7 to 8 years now, we have not had grants approved. We've simply missed out, and we've needed to do things or wanted to do things. And so in the end, we've partly spent our own money to do something that was critical at the time.
And just furthermore, obviously, you come forward because this is obviously very important. What does it mean that if we didn't support this tonight for you, does it mean you've got more time up your sleeve, or things are pretty important?
At the beginning of April, sorry, I've cut you off. The beginning of April, we would be in a position where we did not have enough funds to pay our bills. That would be the circumstance we would arrive at. It would not be by large amounts, but it would be negative territory. We would not have any other funding coming through to assist us other than help we might get from the public or from yourselves, and so that would be the position we'd be in. So we have to seriously consider whether we need to close midway or not, and that would be a very difficult thing for us to consider, and we don't want to leave the people we serve alone in the world. We don't. They found a place with us, they come and see us, they sit and have a cup of tea or coffee, they have a biscuit, soft drink. They sit in the air conditioning because they don't have it in their own homes. We have the homeless come to the door and look for food and clothing. And we have women, if I could say that in that way, running away from violence with their children. I've met them. I've been there when they've arrived. And they're given clothing and food, and they're directed to a sheltered place because we can't shelter them where we are, but we have those connections. So as a linking mechanism within the community and as a support mechanism, I see us as critical.
Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks. I want to make more of a statement and just thank you for coming and being open and raw and sentimental through the passion and the drive that you guys each and every day put into this this community, of which a number of us represent quite heavily. Those types of people, or have experienced or have had family members or know people who have been in those situations. And we speak a lot, exactly what you've just spoken about, the homeless, the sheltering, putting roof over people's head, providing services. And the challenge you brought to us isn't new to us. We've faced this ourselves when we have tiers of government who bring services in here, and we implement those, and then we're forced to continue those programs on because it builds a connection, it establishes that there's a need, and it's a cost-efficient service being provided. I'm sure if us as a council swallowed up the service delivery that you provided, the operating costs that you're demonstrating to us as an oily rag could be significantly larger. I do echo my fellow councillor, though, that we too obviously go through our own challenges when it comes to our own budgets and where we need to allocate our funds. But
Councillor Marsh, you have a question for Mr Mantle?
no, it's a statement because I really appreciate the fact
Councillor
that you...
Marsh, it's not statement time, it's question time.
It will come to it. So
well,
in relation...
Councillor Marsh.
In relation to...
Councillor Marsh.
Yep, in relation to your coming forwards...
Your time's expired.
Yep.
It's questions for the member.
I will.
For the member. You said you don't have a question.
No,
it's
no,
not statement time.
I'll come to the question.
Or can you come to the question, please?
When it comes to the dollar value that you've requested for us, is there key programs that you want to see that will go towards that are key to
it will continue to maintain what we have at the moment. We have, as I said, a lot of socialisation programs happen with us. You know, we have, let's say, knitting and crochet classes, art classes sometimes. We run these English classes. We have some weeks we have 2 people in, some weeks we have 10 or 11. It just depends on what people's lives are doing for them or what freedoms they may have. But we do those things, and those things will all continue. This is what we want to do. As well as that, we have in our minds, at this point, the possibility of setting up a food bank type outcome as well, which is slightly more expansive than what we provide at the moment. We're very limited because of our funds as to what sort of food we can carry or hold, and also because of the equipment we have. We have a good fridge and we can put stuff in it and hand out a frozen meal if someone comes in because they're struggling for food. But outside of that, we can't do a lot. What we'd like to be able to do is say, okay, here's a bag of groceries with other things in it, take them, go. That's what we'd like to do, and or at a small fee. You know, much less than might be paid if one was forced to go to a supermarket, for example. So that's one of the things we're looking to do alongside of what we do already. We care about these people. These people matter. They're human beings like you and me. They've just had the rough side of the coin along the way. They deserve any opportunity we can give them to take one step forward further from where they are at the moment. And if we can do that, then we make a difference to, as I said, that movement of humanity.
Are there any other questions? Councillor Smiljani.
And saying your deputation. I just have a couple of questions with regards to if council were to support some funding, has the committee looked at opportunities or different avenues to seek further funding, whether that's through sponsorships or fundraising?
Yes, we have and we are.
Okay.
We're in the process of doing that. We've identified certain targets, and I mean, this time's a difficult time of the year, but certainly we've identified other targets, and we will be having conversations with those parties in order to see what they may or may not be able to do for us. But we are looking at, you know, the opportunity to badge them in our environments, as an example, in return for whatever favours are possible. But we are strategically now looking for a flow of funds from sponsors that may continue into the future, which may then take off pressure from the council to possibly provide anything else further down the track.
That's great to hear, thank you. And
Great.
I've just got one more question.
Sure.
With regards to the staff, so you were saying you've got some community board members.
There are.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, with that management committee, have you had formal training with regards to, I guess from a finance point of view, finance management? Are they qualified, or are they sort of putting their hand up and going, I'm going to help out?
We have a mixture of people.
Okay.
We do have a finance officer who's a qualified accountant. We have a treasurer who is a bookkeeper. My qualifications are, I'm the public officer, but I carry a master's degree in human resource development, and I carry several other qualifications in both business management and marketing. And yet some of them also just to put their hand up. So we have a mixture of skill set across the group, but we look to, and have done in the past, try and evolve that skill set so that it suits better what we do. The other part of it too is for people like perhaps myself, but others with formal qualifications, we do have a process of discussion and mentoring with the others.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Vanderpeer.
Thanks, Mayor Doherty. I just have a couple of questions, and I'm sorry if you've already been through the first one, but I just want to make sure we're absolutely clear on this. So you were saying that the reason you find yourself in this situation is due to an employee leaving and needing to...
That's part of the process, but for some, as I've just explained, out-of-pocket expenses that we were not expecting and that have contributed over time to degrading the position we held in terms of support funding, shall we say.
So upon paying those entitlements, there was not much left?
No, there was. In the end, we thought we were fine, but about 3 months in, we realised, particularly when that base payment had to be made, it was significantly more than we thought it might be, and it made a real dent in things. And then on top of that, we had this moment, which I explained earlier, where we had the water pipe issue. So that's a physical, infrastructure issue, and that was well over that was about $2,500 to $3,000. Sorry, my apologies for that. I said a different number earlier.
And with the employee, I don't know if I missed this, but is this the employee that was there part-time due to the DHS grant, or is that...
Yes.
Okay, so that
person was part-time also.
So DHS funds their wages, I guess, but if they leave, there's no support to cover those entitlements, is that...
No, there was support to cover those entitlements, but as I said, part of the process, which ended up partly being a tax issue, caught us unawares, not unawares, but by surprise to some degree. It was a bigger bill than we thought we were going to have to pay. Okay. As part of that process, that did have an impact on us. And so we felt we would be able to get through, but once we sat down and did all the numbers projecting out, we realised that we were at a point where we were pretty much no funds left. And that's going to happen somewhere around the beginning of April.
Okay. And has that feedback been provided back to DHS?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, that's good. I just wanted to ask, because I realised we hadn't really covered this, but obviously you've made the ask of seeking council support or funding support. I just wanted to know how much you had in mind, what you need from this council.
I won't say whatever you care to give us, because we believe that the figure that will save us is approximately $30,000. And we believe that we can move forward into the future with that and move forward safely. And we will then look for other support from other sources as well as we can. We have no other choice.
And is that amount needed up front?
It would be good if it could, let's put it that way. So that presents an opportunity to put us in a position where come April we will still have a buffer, but we will probably use half of that money in between times.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions, Mr Mantell? If not, thank you very much for your deputation.
Thank you for your time. It's greatly appreciated, and thank you all for your consideration.
Thank you. And just in relation to Councillor Arifi asked whether the Midway Road Community House is required to pay council rates. Does someone wish to answer that?
Thank you, Mayor.
No, thank you. Mr Colhane.
Through the Mayor, thank you for the question, Councillor. I don't have the specific information in front of me, but yes, that organisation would be required to pay rates. Under the Local Government Act, community services organisations may be entitled to a 75% mandatory rebate. However, the community services definition is well defined in the Local Government Act. In this instance, I don't have information in front of me to explain to you whether or not that does apply. And then also, there's the council has the ability to apply discretionary rebates as well.
Thank you, Mr Colhane. We'll move on to the next deputation, which is 11.2, which is unsafe road conditions, from Ms Catherine Hunter and Mr Ross Cooper. Are they present? can come forward. So, Ms Hunter and Mr Cooper, I've just got to read out a few things for you. You've got a deputation of up to 5 minutes. If you're still going at the 4-minute mark, you'll get a 1-minute warning. There is a bottle of water there for you each. Your time will start when you start speaking, and at the conclusion of your remarks, you may receive some questions from the councillors, so please stay at the podium until the end of your deputation session. So your time will start when you start speaking. Over to you.
Thank you. Hello everyone, I'm Catherine Hunter, this is Ross Cooper. We're here with several other residents of Odgers Road in Virginia. We're here in hopes of getting some much needed improvements made to our street. So the majority of us, it would be 6 to 8 years ago, built our homes on Odgers Road. Excuse me, I've had a cold. Which was, up until then, it was mostly market gardens, and the road is in the condition that would suit a market gardens. There's not enough room for 2 cars to pass each other without going off-road. There's no footpaths, there's only grassy verges on the side, and it's very unsafe for pedestrians. This wouldn't have been too much of an issue 6 years ago, but in 2023 we were made aware of a development for over 100 houses at the end of Odgers Road, which was in process. So obviously we put a petition in place to try and get some improvements made before this was approved. We were then told that the approval went ahead using Sheedy Road as the access road for the development. We're not quite sure how this came about, because Odgers Road is the direct route to the town centre, and it's also the direct route to the school. But however, it did happen. Jump forward now 2 years later, the development's nearly finished. They're ready to start building houses on this development. As I said, over 100 homes. They are also now looking at making improvements to Sheedy Road, which means that the road will be closed, which means that all traffic from Virginia Grove and the new development will be diverted down Odgers Road, which, as I stated, is basically an access road for market gardens. It's unsafe. There will be 100 new families that's kids will be walking to school via this road, and we desperately need something done about it. And hopefully we can get something started today.
Still got quite a bit of time.
Oh, I've got quite a lot of time.
3 minutes, so it's up to you if you want to use it.
We do actually have another member of our neighbourhood that's going to speak. He will go over a lot more of the important points and the information needed. So.
Okay. If you're not wishing to use up your time, that's fine. Are there any questions for Ms Hunter or Mr Cooper? Councillor Rentoulis.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Catherine and Ross, for coming out tonight. Specifically, I want you to tell this chamber what concerns you have in relation to safety, particularly as it relates to children walking along the road to get to the primary school. Have you seen any children have near misses? I want you to go into that, please.
Okay, so that's I don't think any of the children on our street at the moment actually walk to school. They used to, but it is unsafe. So now they're all driven to school. I can't speak for the families that are going to be moving into the neighbourhood. They might not have that privilege to be able to do that, because we have seen several near misses, more so with an elderly neighbour who uses a mobility aid, and she walks every day to the town centre. She has to walk on the road. It's not possible for her to walk on the sides of the road because it is just overgrown grass swales. If it rains, they get flooded. So she's walking on the road with traffic manoeuvring around her. Sheedy Road was closed recently for waterworks to be put in place, and it was notable differences then on how much traffic was coming down our street. And as I say, I've several times seen her just about being hit by cars.
Do you have any further questions, Councillor?
I do, yeah. Perhaps this will be covered by the next speaker, but the width of the road, can you fit 2 cars on the road?
No.
So what happens when cars...
They go off-roading.
They go off-roading?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So they're going... Some of the ditches have had makeshift repairs on them, But yeah, the cars are going off-road to get around one another. We have video of it. It's pretty poor.
Yeah.
So.
And as you said, there's a development that there's going to be houses that are going to commence construction shortly. I believe just over 100 allotments.
Yep.
So, where do they go? Is there a road at the back?
No.
So they'll all come through Odgers Road.
They will all be coming down Odgers Road.
All right. No worries. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Ms Hunter or Mr Cooper? Councillor Kerrison.
Thank you for the deputation. Obviously, it sounds very concerning. It's sounding like it's dysfunctional as it is now. I sort of wondered in my mind what rubbish day might be like as well. I think you said another 100 houses going in?
Yeah.
All right. So my question to you would be, it sounds dysfunctional now. Can we reiterate what it's going to look like on rubbish day with another 100 houses in the area? Can we imagine that, or...?
It's already dodgems on rubbish day. The traffic's all going off-road. Yeah.
Yeah, with 100 more houses and...
Yeah. And especially with Sheedy Road being closed off as well, that's another big concern for us too. So, yeah.
Are there any other questions? Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Just to staff, so I'll reserve it if anyone else wants to talk to these two. I just want to ask staff.
Just the only other thing that I'd say is I do believe that we're probably the only streets left in Virginia town centre. So we're not a rural street. We're directly off the main street. We're directly in the town centre, and I believe that it's Odgers and O'Loughlin's roads are the only roads that are still rural. We have no footpaths. It's just, it needs to be updated. All around us is development with footpaths and roads and lights and everything modern, and we just feel like we've been left in the dark. So.
All right, there's no other questions for you. Thank you very much, Ms Hunter and Mr Cooper, for your presentation this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councillor Marsh, you have a question for staff?
Yeah, thank you. Has staff undertaking a recent impact report or traffic flow impact report with this new estate coming on board, and or any other estate or growth that may impede along Odgers Road for people to transit through? When was the most recent one? Taking in all elements of anything that may impact on Odgers Road.
Mr Dineen.
Thanks for the question. Consideration would have been given during the assessment of the land division application. I couldn't give you an exact date, but that would predate the 2024 presentation we provided to elected members.
Would have that provided any recommendations on connecting roads, adjacent connections, when we know that people need to work, walk, play and move around the township?
I can't speak to the report. I need to take that on notice, sorry.
Thank you, Mr Dineen. Councillor Tarr, have you got a question?
Yes.
Councillor
This
Tarr.
is probably a question for the staff as well. Where does this road upgrade / infrastructure fall on the upgrade list?
That may not be a question for Mr Dineen. Mr Richter.
Through the Mayor, in the transport strategy, which seeks to prioritise projects, being such a large number of projects, I think it's currently at about 98 in that priority list.
Thank you.
Yep.
Councillors, we're going to be asking lots of questions on this. We do have another deputation on the same road and near roads, so I can take these two now if you've got questions on it, but would you rather hear the next deputy and then ask the staff those questions? It's up to you. Okay, turning the light. Councillor Rentoulis.
Yep, thanks, Mayor. Yeah, thanks for that. Off the back of Councillor Tarr's question, 98 on the list. Therefore, when is the road going to be upgraded up to Australian road standards, curb and gutter, footpaths, lighting? If it's 98 on the list, is it going to get done in the next 4 years, 10 years, 20 years? Thank you.
Mr. Richard.
Through the Mayor, it's currently not on the 4-year delivery plan. I know that this transport strategy is roughly a 10-year strategy, but yeah, it's currently not on the 4-year delivery plan.
All right, councillors, we do have our next deputy on this issue as well, so I'll just make sure we'll take their seats. We have another deputy, item 11.3 on Odgers and O'Loughlin Road. Peter Sekafine, I hope I pronounced that right. Is that right, Peter? Thank you. If you can come forward. You're probably going to be an expert at this because you've heard me say it multiple times, but you do have a slide presentation which has been approved and will come up on the screen in a moment. So, Mr. Sekafine, up to 5 minutes for your deputation. At the 4-minute mark, if you're still going, you'll get a warning to say you've got a minute. There's a bottle of water there if you need it, which you've already taken part in. Your time will start when you start speaking, and at the conclusion of your presentation, just stay at the lectern, as there may be some questions from the elected members, but time will start when you're ready.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and councillors. Thank you for the opportunity to speak and address you tonight. We are here on behalf of the residents of the Virginian community to speak about the urgent need for the upgrade of Odgers and O'Loughlin Road and their adjoining footpaths. Both Odgers and O'Loughlin roads are in extremely poor state of repair. The road surfaces are uneven, with potholes, crumbling edges and no drainage, making them both unsafe for motorists and pedestrians. Just 10 years ago, the land surrounding these roads was primarily used for market gardens, with only 10 to 15 dwellings in the area. The roads were designed to accommodate light local traffic and small-scale agricultural use, not the increased residential and commuter volumes they now carry, with future developments in progress. Today, these same narrow, deteriorating roads are relied upon daily by hundreds of residents, including families travelling to Virginia Primary School and nearby community facilities. In addition to this, the roads are, on average, only about 1.5 car widths wide. This means that when two vehicles travel in opposite directions, drivers are frequently forced onto the verge or over broken edges of bitumen to pass one another. This not only damages vehicles and the road shoulders further, but creates a real risk of collisions and pedestrian injury. The most pressing concern, however, is public safety, particularly for vulnerable road users. Children from Virginia Primary regularly walk and cycle these roads, while parents with prams and elderly residents rely on them to access local shops and community facilities. As a current member of South Australia Police, and having previously served as a patrol officer of the Elizabeth Local Service Area, I have first-hand experience with road safety risks. Throughout my policing career, vulnerable road users have consistently represented some of the greatest risks on our roads, reinforcing the importance of proactive measures to prevent serious injury or loss of life. With no footpaths and a small roadway, pedestrians are forced onto the road, which is dangerously close to moving traffic. This situation is simply not safe, especially given the close proximity to Virginia Primary School and the frequency of how many children use this road. Families should be able to walk or cycle safely to school without fear of being struck by vehicles. We must not wait for a serious accident to occur before taking action. Virginia is expanding rapidly. Over the next 5 years, there is likely to be 500 allotments directly connected to Odgers and O'Loughlin roads, which will bring substantial increase in both vehicle and pedestrian traffic. Based on an average of 1.5 cars per household, that equates to around 900 additional vehicles using these roads daily, not including delivery vans, construction or service vehicles. Without timely upgrades, the existing roads and footpath network will simply not be able to cope with this growth, and the risk to public safety will only intensify. In July 2023, Virginian residents, a large number here tonight, petitioned Councillor Rentoulis calling for action from the council in regards to the poor state of the roads, including lack of satisfactory stormwater, footpaths and lighting. Councillors approved for a report to be commissioned. Since that time, a residential development is nearing completion that will contain 103 new allotments, which will worsen the already poor condition and make it even more unsafe for motorists, residents and pedestrians. In August 2023, Council completed a funding analysis in which estimates the upgrade to Odgers and O'Loughlin Road to cost approximately over $8 million.
1 minute.
We fully understand that every ratepayer wants their road fixed and that Council must make difficult decisions when allocating funds with limited resources. I also acknowledge that the previous costing report for $8 million may appear to be a significant amount of money. However, if the project is delayed another 5 years, with an average annual construction cost inflation by around 5%, the total cost will likely rise to $10.2 million. That's an additional $2.2 million that could be avoided by acting now. Odgers and O'Loughlin Road serve as general access roads to growing parts of Virginia, including the expanding Virginia Grove subdivision. With the subdivision of land in and around Odgers and O'Loughlin roads and the creation of as many as 500 new residential blocks directly connecting these roads, they will be heavily utilised by both current and future residents. Given the scale of population growth and the essential connection these roads provide to Virginia primary school and community infrastructure, the project represents an appropriate and strategic allocation.
5 minutes, but I'll let you finish your sentence.
Thank you. An appropriate and strategic allocation of council funds, one that will serve thousands of residents to come. I've just got a closing statement. That's all right.
Unfortunately not, because I don't know how long a closing statement are under our policy and procedures for meetings. Someone would have to move to give you an extension of time.
And an additional up to 1 minute, please.
Up to 1 minute. Does that find a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Norris. I'm presuming the mover and seconder aren't wishing to speak on that. Any other councillor wishing to speak? If not, we've got the motion before us that Mr. Sekafine has been granted up to 1 more minute for his extension of his deputation. So I'll put that. All those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. So over to you when your time starts.
Thank you, Councillor. In conclusion, councillors, upgrading Odgers and O'Loughlin Road is not just about ratepayers from two individual streets wanting a better road. It's about community safety, physical responsibility and forward planning. By supporting any motion for an upgrade, you will provide infrastructure that supports Virginia's rapidly growing population, prevent future cost blowouts by acting after inflation drives costs higher, protecting families and elderly residents who use these roads every day. It's a worthy and responsible investment, one that aligns with the City of Playford's commitment to safety, connected and sustainable communities, as well as South Australia's road safety strategy. Thank you for your time and your continued dedication to the residents of Playford Council. And that's just a little photo of my son who likes to mow the lawn, but he's not allowed out the front because it's a bit too dangerous. So,
you do have 13 seconds left.
That's right. I think I've used most of your time.
Okay, no worries. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Councillor Rentoulis.
Yeah, perhaps it's a question for our staff. I don't think I've got any further questions. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Much appreciated. Yeah.
Any other member have any questions for Mr. Secretary? No. If not, then thank you very much for your deputation this evening. We'll just wait for the preso to come off the big screen. Councillor Rentoulis.
Yeah, my question is in relation to future funding. Is there any deed, any money that we can obtain to help upgrade the roads from any existing deeds, or are there likely to be deeds that will become available?
Mr. Deneen.
Through the Chair, I can only speak to the current deeds in play at current date, which is the Virginia Road Growth Area Road Infrastructure Deed. The land that you saw under development currently for those houses are contributing into that deed. The deed is really clear on what roads that funding can be allocated to, roads and intersections. Odgers and O'Loughlin are not part of that schedule.
So they're not. So the council at some point will have to fund it entirely, at least at the current time. One way or another, the council will have to fund the upgrade of those roads entirely, one way or another. Whether it's now or in 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is, council has to fund it, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Councillor Kerrison.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. Look, I've said for a long time, infrastructure first, and it's really important, safety and road function, we need to consider that, and these things need to come first, not secondly. So my question is, how do we prevent this in the future? One is, what do we do about this now? It needs dealing with, and I think, what do we hear, 98 or 99 on the priority list? That's just totally unacceptable. But moving past that, where do we stand as council? All right, because if anyone out there assessed the situation, spoke to the residents first and assessed it, how did that development ever get approval? All right, because another 100 plus cars or more in that area, or homes in that area, it's just going to be a nightmare. So I'm very keen to know tonight what we do about this, what we can do about it. Did we have any opportunity of saying no, that we've got to put the infrastructure in first before the development goes ahead? I'd best be really interested to understand all those details.
Just working out. Mr Dean, you going to take that, or maybe take it on notice to provide a bit of a background on that?
Through the Chair, happy to take that on notice.
Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Can I just ask, during the Sheedy Road upgrade, when that commences, what is the traffic flow management plan going to look like for the vehicles and pedestrians who will be accessing along Sheedy Road?
Ms Mitson.
Thank you, through the Chair. Thank you for the question. We're currently undertaking the upgrade of Park Road, which means that road is closed, and the diversion for that road right now is Sheedy. We are going to commence the Sheedy Road upgrade on the 27th of January, assuming Park Road is finished. Those two projects are mutually exclusive because they are the detour route for each other. So the Park Road is detouring down Sheedy. When that's complete and they've moved, Sheedy Road upgrade will detour, be posted down Park Road.
Okay, is that via Supple Road onto Park Road? Is that what you're meaning? All right, well.
Obviously, we can't physically prevent people from driving down other roads, but it won't be the posted detour route. And it's worked really well the other way around from Park onto Sheedy.
All right.
Councillor Vanderpeer.
Thanks, Mayor Doherty. I just wanted to understand that, hypothetically, if we did have this funding available to us, the $8 million that's been quoted for the upgrade of this road, how quickly could this upgrade be delivered? Or are we still going to be waiting, 4+ years to see it upgraded if we had the money right now?
Let's work out which staff member will take it. Mr Deneen.
Through the Chair. Our general schedule is to undertake detailed design in one financial year and move that through to construction in a latter financial year.
Sorry, just another question, if I may. So, with a road of this size, how long would you anticipate construction would take?
Ms Mitson.
Thank you, through the Chair. We normally, it would be similar to Sheedy, I would imagine. We normally allow 12 months for construction, remembering there's two roads here, there's O'Loughlin as well as Odgers. So, but I would imagine a 12-month construction window would be adequate.
Councillor Ntoulis.
Mayor, just a final question, Ms Mitson. Sorry, just have a further question for you. Sorry, I just want to be clear. In relation to Sheedy Road that's about to commence construction work, did you say that we're going to try and redirect traffic onto Park Road? Is that what you said?
Yeah, correct.
So from
the end of Sheedy Road, people will be told this road is detoured and to go up Soppel Road to Park Road to get to Virginia Main Street.
Yeah, but the problem is we can't stop them from going right invariably onto O'Loughlin and Odgers Road.
You can't physically stop people because obviously people live on that part of the road, but it will not be the posted detour.
So may I respectfully make a suggestion, if this is possible, rather than closing Sheedy Road entirely, can you have half of it open, half closed? Because I'm telling you, it's going to be, and I'm sure the gallery will testify that it will be an absolute nightmare, bedlam.
Yeah.
People will go down O'Loughlin, Odgers Road, and it will be completely unsatisfactory. It will be dangerous.
So the construction period for Sheedy Road upgrade is from the very end of January till about July. The road will not, we're going to start in the reserve end, so we won't actually close the road at all for the first few weeks. The reason we do need to do a full road closure, not for the entire duration of that 5 months, but for part of it, is because the stormwater trenches cross over the road completely. So for all of that work, we do need to close the road.
All right.
But it won't be closed the whole time for 6 months.
All right.
All right, thank you, councillors, and I'll thank all the deputies for their presentations this evening. You did a fantastic job. And thank you to the gallery for listening quite intently as well. It's greatly appreciated. Councillors, we'll now move on to item 12, motions on notice which are nil. We move to item 13, motions without notice. Are there any motions? Councillor Rentals.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So I've just got a motion off the back of the motion on notice that was moved at the end of October in relation to King Road and Penfield Road at Virginia. Just as a reminder to councillors and to those that aren't aware of it, in the gallery, unfortunately there was an accident in early October which led to the tragic loss of life of a young child. That is a problem intersection, has been for at least 10 years, I think well before my time as well on council. A lot has been done to improve safety in relation to that intersection by this chamber, as well as the Department of Infrastructure and Transport. Bottom line is something more lasting needs to occur, and that's what I propose tonight. There needs to be an application for black spot funding. Councillors, if you look at your agenda on page 4, if you look at the answers to my questions from the October Ordinary Council meeting, our staff have asked questions of the department in relation to when, if and when they intend to move an application for black spot funding in relation to the teardrop solution, which acts as a dogleg, essentially acts as a barrier, causes traffic on the approach from King Road to Penfield Road to veer off to the left and effectively stop. My discussions with staff tonight indicate that they are happy for there to be an application for black spot funding, and this particular motion, if you look at item or paragraph number 4, it says that we'll collaborate with the Department of Infrastructure and Transport to ensure that there's an application for black spot funding by the due date, and the closing date is the end of January 2026, so this is an opportune time. We've been building up to this. We've done a lot up until this point in time. This is the next step. We seek black spot funding for a more lasting solution that will hopefully bring an end to motorists going through that intersection. Again, it doesn't matter what you have to say about what the causes are for those accidents. I appreciate that. Most likely in most scenarios, it's driver error. I appreciate that. But the point is, it keeps happening. So we have to do something about it. It's incumbent on this council to do something about it. So I implore you to support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rentoulis, for your proposed motions. That find a seconder. Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Doherty. I just want to provide some clarity on, obviously, why the motions come without notice, and that's in relation to, on page 4, in relation to the quick response back from the department, which was on the 9th of December, and it really shows you a tight time frame from when staff received the response to when they were able to deliver that response to us as elected members, and for at the due date of any application to Black Spot needs to be in by the end of January next year. So reason for the motion on notice is there's a tight time frame. We want to be compliant with the application closing date of January next year, and what it would look fantastic to see there's been a solid push and support by this council, and I'd love to see that in January, that we could see an application by the City of Playford and by the department for an intersection upgrade and some control measures put in there to really control these crashes, and unfortunately, obviously the sad news of a fatality. So I just wanted to provide clarity why it's here, what we're doing, and I look forward and hope to see all my colleagues support this, and let's see if we can get some external funding and continue to raise the intersections across the City of Playford. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak to the motion? Councillor Smiljaney.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. I just have a question for staff with regards to this this motion. With regards to this motion, noting that it is leading up to Christmas time and the holiday period, is this a realistic approach from staff to be able to create an application for the Black Spot funding before the end of January? Is with the resources that we have, is that something that staff are able to accomplish?
Yep. Mr. Richter.
Through the Mayor, thanks for the question. We had a verbal update from DIT today. They said the application verbally is on track. They're finalising concepts, they're finalising costings, they're doing the economic analysis on it. The advice was informally it is looking good, and they're on target to achieve that date.
That's
for
great.
applications. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Are there any other councillors wishing to speak? If not, Councillor Rentoulis has the right to close if he wishes. Okay, thank you, Councillor Rentoulis. Councillors, we have a motion before us. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Are there any other motions without notice? Councillor Baker.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, first of all, I'd like to thank Mr Mantell for his excellent presentation on Midway House. As you're aware, I'm not a believer in motions without notice, but due to the gravity of the situation, I thought it rather prudent to bring this item to our attention tonight. I've had extensive discussions with our administration to clarify my concerns, and I have distributed the information to all of our elected members to enable their consideration in a timely manner. Although I've known Midway House for many, many years, I am not associated formally with Midway House, but I have been approached by 3 residents who've approached me concerned about the possible loss of this vital community service. I think it would be a great loss to our residents, particularly those in less fortunate circumstances, and as you can see from Mr Mantell's presentation, just what this house delivers for our residents. And I think we all know that community grants are incredibly difficult to obtain for operational matters, and it's certainly one of the biggest expenditure that any community group, as many of us know who serve in those, are experiencing. Although DHS does fund the coordinator, and hopefully will continue to do that, it is very, very difficult for any other operational matters to get funding for. So I would commend that. I think Mr Mantell has virtually covered everything that people are requiring, including answering all those questions. So I will commend that, that motion to you.
Could we just have the motion up on the screen? Can I take it? Thank you. Councillor Norris, I presume, yes, I'll give you the call.
Yep.
I think I know what you're about to do next.
Yes, thank you. I would like to declare a conflict of interest, a material conflict of interest, because I am on the committee and I'm going to leave for this agenda item.
And Councillor Halls, I'll give you the call because I think we know where this is going to go.
Thank you very much. I will have a conflict of interest. I'm on the board. I will leave the room.
Thank you. I'll call Councillor Tarr.
Thank you, Councillor Baker, for raising this. I'd like to second the motion, but with, can I make a amendment to the motion?
It's not. It's not. Well, you're seconding the motion, so you can't amend as your second. But if you raise it and the mover is happy, then we'll incorporate it because
Okay.
you have seconded the motion. But what's your suggestion?
Just something about putting something about the hardship policy in the motion as well, to assist them further, as well as our recommendation.
My suggestion, Councillor, would be that Council has a hardship policy which businesses, residents or others can go and assess themselves against that criteria. I don't think it's prudent that we force that upon the organisation. I think what we could do is our administration could provide them a copy of the relevant document, and it's ultimately up to them to ascertain whether A, they meet the criteria, or B, wish to actually seek the hardship policy. I don't think it'd be right for us to add a dot point that we must do that. We can't force the organisation to adopt that. That's a decision for them to do, and which they could do regardless whether this motion was successful or unsuccessful. They can go and do that in 5 minutes' time, or they could do it next Wednesday, regardless of whether this motion was successful. Yep, I'll give Councillor Baker the right to.
Okay, if you actually have a look at the audited statements, Midway House paid previous year $420 and this year $624. So my thought is that they probably already do get the 75 because they wouldn't be paying 625 for annual rates. So I've got a feeling they already do get that 75. But happy to explore it.
But I think my suggestion would be that the staff could work with Mr Mental or anybody else of his delegate to see if any hardship or any other policy that they'd be exempted to in relation to council rates. I think that's a separate step that they would do regardless whether this motion was even on the floor tonight or not. So we can. But once again, even if we, I think there's enough consent of the staff that they can provide the relevant document or documents to Midway Road Community House. Do you have any other comment to make as a seconder of the motion? No. Councillor Small-Smith.
I actually want to speak, but I wasn't going to second it. But can I second it and then speak?
It's already been seconded by Councillor Tarr.
Oh, okay,
so
that's
now
fine.
we're going just on the queue.
Yes, I just want to quickly speak. Look, I'm not speaking against the motion. I want to thank Mr Mantell very much for answering all of my questions. That satisfied quite a lot of things in my mind. But I think it would be very remiss if I wasn't to mention that I'm concerned about the fact that this could be causing a precedent, and that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Small-Smith. Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. And I think that's a valuable note to make. And I think it's good to see that we've got the ability to make those changes, or we cut it and we don't allow any other precedents to continue flow. Can I just say, following on from our previous conversations, we've got a tight budget ourselves, and by no means would I encourage every organisation to come forward, come to council and think we've got a blank cheque. But I think through my heart that you've really drained and dried that oily rag as much as you can as far as you can to drive this vehicle to its next destination. And I think it's okay to come to say that you are struggling as a service provider to those who are actually struggling physically, mentally, and through their life. And I think that's where we actually play a role as a local council, that at that time, before you close the doors, and we've got those hundreds of people who can't open the door to that smiling face and the warming environment, that's the time that we can jump in. So I'll definitely support this as a one-off. I hope I don't see you back in here, because that means that then you're back on track and you're delivering those services. I would hope maybe you could reach out to our staff, and maybe our staff can provide some stronger, if it's governance or if it's abilities to leverage external funding, maybe we can make better improvements to your cost efficiencies. So we've got some great expertise staff, and I think that in-kind contribution we might be able to provide to you along the journey. But it would be up to you to reach out, but please do so through to the Mayor or the CEO, and let's see some of our staff can be crafty and we can keep you in for another 40 years. But thank you for coming tonight.
Any other councillor wishing to speak on the motion? If not, Councillor Baker has the right to close if she wishes. No, we've got a light just on. Councillor Reefy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to acknowledge and appreciate the work the Midway Community House do for our community, and I thank their volunteers for coming out tonight. I think as a council, we get approached by many community groups for assistance, and we've been able to help as many as we can. The other thing I want to point out is we don't want to set a precedent for other organisations. We could have, a cricket club or a footy club come out next month and say we need, $50,000. So we need to be consistent with our decision making. The other thing, Mr. Mayor, I do want to bring your mind into is back in 2021, I moved a motion around the Anti-Poverty Network, who requested for a letter to be written to the former Treasurer regarding increasing some funding for the job seekers and people on low income. And unfortunately, that motion was not supported by many on this chamber. Obviously, there are a number of new elected members, and those elected members who didn't support, the Anti-Poverty Network, their cause around standing up for people who are homeless, who are struggling in our community, they didn't stand up for them, Mr. Mayor. And tonight they're talking about supporting homeless people. I think, we have to be consistent with our decision making. I think we should, treat every community group, equally, and ensure that we provide support where we can. And I'm happy to support the Midway Community House, and I hope that they will, with this funding, they will improve their financials over the next 12 months. And there are also trainings for board management to ensure that they, learn and better understand the governance side and the financial management to help improve the organisation and ensure it's profitable for the future. So happy to support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Reefy. Any other councillors? Councillor Bayani.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question from Sam, the CEO. Would like to ask, see if you have any advice or any concerns regarding this being a once-off payment, how it's going to affect us financially as a council, in the next financial year, of course. So how it's going to, is it going to increase our council rates? So how it's going to affect us financially? Thank you.
Mr. Green.
Through the Mayor, thanks Councillor Bayani, and always good to consider these decisions in the context of our overall finances. If you've had a look at the budget update report that's in your agenda tonight, you'll see that this year we're forecasting a fairly healthy surplus. at this point in time. $30,000 expenditure once off won't impact that significantly.
Councillor Kerrison.
You know, look, I agree with the sentiment. We don't want to set precedents, but I just go back to saying it's been an organisation around for a long time. It's provided a lot of valuable support to community. It's not only homeless people. Look, as I said, I had a friend who used some of those services back in the 90s, I believe. Really important service. It's a service that's been there for a long, long time, providing really good community support. So I think in time of need, I think it's very valuable that we consider this. I respectfully understand what some people are saying, but at the same time, I think it'd be nice to work through this. I'd really like the organisation to work with the City of Playford to see if we can further seek funding. I do go back to saying, you know, what is function of the ratepayer, what is function of the state government, but I think council has an advocacy role here, and I think if we can preserve this long-serving community, get them through this tight spot, and address all issues and move this forward the best way we can, I think it's a worthy investment for the community. Thank you.
Are there any other councillors wishing to speak? No, then Councillor Baker has a right to close. And Councillor Baker.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. First of all, during my discussions with the administration, should this motion without notice be passed, our staff will be considering the request under the community grants framework, so it is not a precedent. And I think my only last comment would be that in our budget of $161 million, $30,000 to my mind is well worth the expenditure. And I think, excuse me, the most important thing to acknowledge is the fact that any proposed council monies afforded to Midway House is actually going to be expended on our residents. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. We have the motions before us. It's been moved and seconded. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Division's been called by Councillor Tarr, so the motion's set aside. Those voting for the motion, they can rise in their place. And for the ease of the minute taker, that's everybody. Just wait for our other members to return. Councillor Onyzans.
Thank you, Mayor. So what I'd like to do tonight, this is in relation to the 1 minute silence that we have just observed. So I would like to propose the following, which would be up there on the screen. I'm not going to elaborate further because the Mayor has already indicated what the silence was about, but this one is a further sort of physical proof that we are extending a little bit more with the current situation there in the New South Wales. So I'd like to propose that the City of Playford Council sends a formal condolence letter stating the Council stands united in grief and solidarity with the families and communities affected by the tragic event in Bondi, New South Wales on 14th of December 2025.
Sorry, Councillor Onyzans, I'll just halt you there. Councillors, you're reminded you cannot take photography in the meeting without the express consent of the meeting. I'm going to need to ask and remind councillors not to be taking photos of items on the screen. Thank you, councillors. Sorry, Councillor Onyzans, to interrupt you, but that is a breach of our meeting procedures. So please do not do that. If I spot it again, I'll exclude you from the meeting for disorderly behaviour. Councillor Onyzans.
Yeah, so the second point, we have already observed the 1 minute of silence. So I'd like that indicated that we have observed that in our meeting tonight as a mark of respect to those who lost their lives and extends its deepest condolences to their families and friends and communities. And also that this letter be formally conveyed to local Jewish community organisation here in South Australia, to the Premier's Office of New South Wales, and to the local Member of Parliament representing Bondi. And that's very straightforward proposal there. So yeah, thank you, Mayor.
Councillor on your hands, does it find a seconder? Councillor Tarr.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to second the motion.
Yeah, there's too many items in the queue. I've got to clear this. It's causing some issues there. Councillor Councillor Tarr, can you just hit your button again? And it should be going. Go.
Thank you. I'd like to second the motion, but I'd like to also add to dot point 3 that we add the local council a part of it as well. So that this letter be formally conveyed to the local Jewish community organisation, South Australia, Premier's Office of New South Wales and local Member of Parliament, but there is no council on there.
Are you happy, Councillor on your hands? So we'll just add, if the mover and seconder are happy, and with leave of the meeting, and the local council representing Member of Parliament and representing Bondi. Local council's the same thing. Does any other councillor wish to speak? If no other councillor wishes to speak, then I'll put that. All those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Division's been called to the motion. Division been called by Councillor Marsh. Motion is set aside. All those voting for the motion, if you can rise in your place. For the ease of the minute taker, that's everybody. Thank you. Are there any other motions without notice? If Councillor Vanderpeer.
Thanks, Mayor Doherty. I should have, the minute taker should have received the text via email, so I'm happy to give her a minute to locate that.
We'll just give the minute taker a moment to finalise her item, and then we will get to it.
I'm happy to read out the text as well.
You can read out the text while the minute taker is finding your... Right, there we go.
So, so here it is now. So I'd like to move that Council considers detailed design of Odgers Road and O'Loughlin Road as part of the 2026-27 annual business plan to include, at a minimum, widening of the road and safer pedestrian access.
You can speak to the motion.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. I don't think there's much to say without rehashing what the residents spoke about tonight. And these are the people that are living this experience every day. And, you know, it's a tale we hear very often across the city in growth areas, particularly in Virginia and Anglevale, where you've got rural roads, often very narrow roads, coping with a lot of pressure. And I think in this spot particular, it is quite concerning to see the heavily increased pressure that it will experience due to this neighbouring development, plus, you know, any sort of detours from nearby roads, whether they're official detours or not. So I think, you know, as a council, I would love for you to consider including this, or at least the detailed design of this upgrade in the next annual business plan.
Does it find a seconder? Councillor Arifi.
Yes, Mr Mayor, happy to second that. I think it was discussed in detail tonight with regards to residents' deputation, and I think detailed design would be a great start, and obviously it will be a part of the annual business plan, which will be further discussed in future meetings and obviously consultation, so happy to support it.
Any other councillors wishing to speak on the motion? Councillor Rentoulis.
Yeah, I'll just speak just very briefly. Thank you, Councillor Van der Peer, for moving this motion without notice. I can tell you that I have been working with the residents now for some time to do something in relation to this, and I'm just foreshadowing that there is something that's likely to come in the new year in relation to something more substantive. So this is just purely, I appreciate Councillor Van der Peer's efforts, but this is purely widening the road, and that's completely, it misses the mark respectfully. And I appreciate what you're doing, I do, but there was a report that was moved by, there was a report that came to council a couple of years ago that talks about not only widening the road, but looks at curb and gutter, footpaths, lighting, something significantly more substantive. So while I appreciate your efforts, there's going to be something further that's going to come back to council. Thank you.
Councillor Kerrison.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. Look, I did join Councillor Antoulis out there on site at one stage, and I did talk to the residents on this as a concept, as an interim process. But I think discussions would indicate at the time it was going to miss the mark, and it would be significant spending of money without the long-term access. Things are widening the road and the safe to pedestrian. In a normal situation where there wasn't drainage issues and other issues, that sounds like it makes a lot of sense. I think in this particular case, from what I could work out, it wasn't going to be a feasible solution. So off the bat, if I hadn't been out there, looked at it and considered it, I would go, yep, this is a great idea. But I think I'd be interested to hear more from the administration. I'd be interested to hear from anyone else who's got any information. But I do think that this, as an interim, while it sounds good, is going to miss the mark significantly. But I'm open. I'd like to hear more from the administration.
Any other councillors wishing to speak? Councillor Craig.
Yeah, just further to that, can we hear from the administration now just to get that information, please?
We can. You did miss quite a lot of discussion earlier on, Councillor Craig, but we will get the staff to provide a bit. But that would have given you a bit of context as well for the first probably hour of the meeting. But Ms. Mitson.
Thank you, through the chair. I'm going to try and find a kind of actual question in that, but in terms of the conversion from a rural road to an urban road profile, which is what the presentation of a few years ago does require, stormwater, curb, gutter, lighting, etc. In my view, safe pedestrian access on a road also requires a curb. I do not support the installation of footpaths that grade with the road. I think they're unsafe, and for me that wouldn't be in the spirit of a road upgrade. What we do normally do when we do renewal of rural roads, and we've done a few recently, Cornishman's, Alexander, we will look at increasing its compliance under the AMP renewal program to current standards. So in, I'm going to have 5 or 6 years' time, when this road is due for renewal, we would probably by default make it wider. It still would not make it an urban profile road though, with curb and footpath and lighting and stormwater. So in terms of widening the road, yes, we can do it. In the absence of significant additional funding, any renewal program that widened that road would not be able to include footpath, curb and safer pedestrian access.
Are there any other councillors wishing to speak? Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. We need to learn from some previous practices that this council had, and that was installing footpaths at grade with roads, installing footpaths adjacent at grade with roads, and also installing footpaths without stormwater along roads. We've also been very ad hoc in delivering footpaths, and it wasn't until the footpath connection program came out, Missing Links, identified that there was, I don't know, 100 kilometres of road or something like that, or 1,000 kilometres of road. throughout the city of Playford. I would hate to see that we've just provided those residents along this particular road in their effort tonight to do a deputation, that they get an ad hoc, half-assed implementation of an infrastructure when they're actually asking for the full infrastructure: stormwater, roads, footpath, lighting, tree canopy. That is what detailed design does, and we heard straight from our staff, and that is we budget year one, which provides the detailed concept design, which then rolls over to year two, which delivers the full infrastructure for the whole of road solution. I could not sit here and support just widening a road and knocking on the door and going, congratulations, get your pram out or get your little kid and go walk on that road because you deem it, or someone deems it, a little bit safer. So we need to start delivering whole of road solutions. If we have not learnt from the growing pains from every part of this city, I think we need to go for a walk again and really find out the practices that we did wrong in this council and what we're trying to do right, and that is providing full pedestrian access, full stormwater solution. The last thing we need to see is roads being widened, and then where does the stormwater go? What are we doing with the stormwater treatment? Because we're extending this road. Is it actually even viable to extend a road? And for what purpose is that? Is that to bring the cars off the road? Is it to bring half a vehicle off the road? Is it so that people can manoeuvre around vehicles that are on the road? A more defined motion should be about delivering detailed design. And anyone in this chamber, if you feel like supporting delivering a full detailed design, you've got it right. That is what the residents are asking for. But we need to understand it's at number 98, and I can sit here for the next hour, rattle so many other local roads. But if we're going to pass something, and I don't care who passes it, you need to pass full detailed design.
Councillor Smiljank.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. For me, looking at the bigger picture of this, I don't think we're going to be doing Odgers Road and O'Loughlin Road justice if we're just going to be doing, at a minimum, widening the road and safer pedestrian access. From experience in our community, how many roads do we have out there? Let's look at other roads that don't have storm water available, and how much more work it is to maintain those roads with loose gravel, the safety of motorbikes turning those corners. I'm talking about more potholes where we don't have water drainage off the side. So for me personally, looking at it from a holistic point of view, I don't think this is a smart way of using our money. I do like the idea of perhaps us being educated again from staff, and this is something I might throw back to the mover, Councillor Van der Peer, with regards to perhaps we could look at getting an information session of just a rehash of what has happened and where staff are up to with regards to the detailed design, noting that yes, it is 98 on the list, but perhaps we could push it up just that little bit more. So rather than, let's say, just council considers a detailed design, perhaps that council provide councillors or elected members an update on design of Odgers Road and Auckland Road, because we are relatively new to this council and perhaps there was some talk even prior to our election period. And then that way we can reassess whether or not to include it in our annual business plan from a whole detailed, holistic approach. Back to the mover. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Smiljank. Are there any other councillors wishing to speak? Councillor Rentoul, you've already spoken, so you could ask a question. Yes, you can ask a question.
So, Ms Smithson, if I understand you correctly, you're saying the proposed motion as it stands, you wouldn't support it because it will not achieve its objective, particularly with respect to stormwater. Is that what you're saying, that there'll be an issue with, you can widen the road, but where's the water going to go? It's quite flat out there.
Thank you for the question, through the chair. My interpretation of the motion would be, because it includes safer pedestrian access, safer pedestrian access is unable to be provided without providing curb, gutter and footpath, which by its nature includes stormwater.
Yeah. Sure.
But I wouldn't, if I was a councillor, I would not support a rural road upgrade of this road. I think we either don't touch it or do an urban road conversion, which you could probably need more detail in that motion for clarity.
Sure. So the next question through our staff and to the mover and seconder is, are you prepared to amend the motion such that it is more detailed to include those important facets, curb and gutter, stormwater provision, lighting? Is that something you're prepared to do?
Look, I think we're too far into the debate for that item. I think if this motion was to fail, someone could foreshadow a motion along the lines you're talking about. I think if this was the first discussion in that motion, yes, but we've had 5 speakers, 6 speakers already, so I don't think it's appropriate for the mayor, for the mover and the seconder to now amend.
So it's too late to do that, is what you're saying?
For that, unless someone amends the motion, but not to have the mover and seconder add the 7 things you've just mentioned all into.
I'd like to. I'm not able to.
Yes, no, you've already spoken, so you can't move an amendment. Mr Green is just asking to make a comment.
Councillors, listening to your debate on this item, it appears to me as though you're all on the same page. The motion as it stands talks about currently considering a detailed design process. When we undertake those detailed design processes, we will do it to think about all the elements that we would think about in any road construction. The motion also says that it would include at a minimum those elements, meaning there are other elements that may be included, and our strong advice would be through that process to consider all the things that you're talking about being important. So rather than worry about amendments and whatnot, I actually think you're talking about the same thing. I also think that in considering this, there's only one way we would do it, and we would only do it properly. We won't get into the habit of designing roads based on words in motions. We'll design roads around Australian standards and good engineering practices.
Okay, all right. If that's the case, then by all means, I'm absolutely happy to support the motion as it currently stands, given what Mr Green has just said.
Are there any other councillors wishing to speak? If not, Councillor Vanderpeer has the right to close if she wishes. Councillor Vanderpeer.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. And I do just want to clarify, Sam basically did that just before, but I was dying to say it does say at a minimum widening the road and safer pedestrian access, and the side of the motion which says the council considers detailed design, that was an assumption on my part that detailed design incorporates a whole of road upgrade, what's under the ground, what's on top of the ground. So perhaps I could have made that clearer, but all of the things that you were asking for is what is implied anyway. So I just wanted to make that very clear.
Councillor Vanderpeer, we have the motion that's been moved and seconded, which is before us. I won't read it out. We've got it all on the screen. So I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare it carried. So who called division? Councillor Vanderpeer called division. So the motion is set aside. So those voting for the motion, if they could rise in their place. So we have Councillors Marsh, Kerrison, Onyuzans, Arifi, Vanderpeer, Halls, Rentoulis, Smallwood-Smith, Tar, Bayani, Smiljanek and Craig voting for the motion. So the motion is carried. Are there any other motions without notice? If not, we move on to item 14, committee reports. We go to item 14.1, 4 Playford Boulevard CBD Development Strategy on page 9. Councillor Baker.
There's a recommendation.
Moved by Councillor Baker. I'm presuming you're not wishing to speak? No. Is it find a seconder? Councillor Smallwood-Smith.
Second without the right to speak, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Smallwood-Smith. Is any other councillor wishing to speak to the item? If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I've got to declare whether it's carried or lost first. We do try and do things properly here at our council. The item is carried. Now you can say, and it's not Councillor Halls, it's Councillor Tarr called the division. So the motion is set aside. Those voting for the motion, if they could rise in their place. So we have Councillor Kerrison, Councillor Baker, Councillor Onyuzans, Councillor Arifi, Councillor Vanderpeer, Councillor Halls, Councillor Rentoulis, Councillor Norris, Councillor Smith, Councillor Tarr, Councillor Bayani, Councillor Smiljanec and Councillor Craig voting for the motion. So the motion is carried. Move to item 14.2, lease of community land for a community battery on page 36. Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Happy to support that and don't need to speak to it. Thank you.
Does it find a seconder? Councillor Onyuzans.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor.
Don't wish to speak. Does any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Kerrison.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. Look, while on the surface this sounds like a important and valuable for those people in need, I'm still not convinced. It says a community battery, but it's not for the whole community. It's only those for low-income households. Now, while I support people on low incomes and trying to do what we can to make life easier for people, this is a government battery that's being put in, offering a 25% reduction on AGL's direct electricity offer, providing release cost of living pressures. However, if the government's paying for this battery to go in, AGL is managing it, I'm not sure where the remainder of the funds are going. Because if you look at the wholesale rate currently, out of the 100% supply needed for South Australia, the excess during the day is up around 135 to 137% during most of our daylight hours through the government's initiatives of everyone putting in solar. Those who put in solar were encouraged to do so. They were encouraged to get nominal rebates, but those rebates, due to the supply, have been cut, all right, and now the wholesale rate to feed into the tariff, if you're on one of those plans, is minus 2 cents during the day, all right. So if the government's putting this battery in, all right, and they're offering a 25% reduction, there's a significant amount of money going somewhere, and I'm not sure where it is. Then I look at the community feedback. What's the impact of if there is a problem, if someone does drive around there and hit that in a vehicle? So look, while I'm not entirely against it, on the surface of the information I have before me at this stage, I'm not prepared to support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kerrison. Councillor Norris.
Thank you. Look, I did speak to this last week and I'm going to just reiterate some of those points. Whilst I appreciate that obviously there is some community benefit, again, to those selected people and people that rightly so do need it, I don't think there is a whole community benefit here. The majority of respondents from the community actually weren't in agreement with this, so there were many concerns that they raised. Some of those included vandalism. I don't believe that the fencing around the actual battery is enough for the required security measures. Safety, just in concerns to batteries, and obviously this could be just based on, what's happening with lithium batteries and scooters and that sort of stuff. But look, I still essentially hold the same concern. And I just also wonder, and this was raised last week, about the sort of 10-year battery life but 15-year lease. What happens afterwards? Does it continue? Does it not? What happens with this land if they've still got ownership for the next 5 years? So in its current format, I will not be supporting.
Councillor Craig.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. I just wonder, I'm questioning really the idea of a rate rebate to the government, effectively. Is that what we're proposing here? When, in fact, like the government, all the housing trust houses, they don't pay any rates, so why should we give the government a rate rebate? That's my question.
Mr Pattinson.
So in terms of rate rebate, if it is rateable or not is actually quite complicated, and in general electricity infrastructure isn't rateable, but we've really put this in to provide total clarity around it. I suppose in terms of providing rate rebate, it's the same reason why council would provide a peppercorn lease to the facility, in terms of, you know, if you include the potential lease value plus the rates, you're probably looking around $25,000 potential lost income to council. The community is probably receiving around $250,000 to $300,000 overall benefit. So if you look at some of our decision-making filters around leveraging external funding and put that in the broader context of the community, it's seen as a small contribution to get a larger contribution to the community.
Councillor Baker.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, as we discussed this when the gentleman came and did a presentation last week, I noticed in the report that there was over 1,000 visits to the engagement hub, which talks about this battery, and there were only 23 submissions received. And out of that, the actual comments regarding the concern about the battery, very reminiscent of when mobile phone towers were being introduced to the community. And my opinion is that things change and things advance, and I think anything that could be a possible experiment or something successful that would reduce any form of electricity rates to our residents should be applauded and should be supported.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Halls.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have a question. Is there any point at all where, if there was negative behaviour towards the battery, that we could tell them to take it away before the lease was up?
Can you just expand on what you mean by negative? Like, is that someone yelling at the battery?
No,
is that someone graffitiing the battery? Like, let's just be a little bit clearer for the staff to...
Negative physical behaviour.
Okay. Don't all rush at once, Mr Pattinson.
I was trying to be polite.
If I was to rephrase your question, I presume you're talking about vandalism towards the infrastructure and the battery itself?
And destruction, yes.
And destruction. So certainly the response back from the Department of Energy and Mining is that they would be putting in processes to deal with vandalism associated with this. And you know, they'd want the infrastructure to continue on, so I presume they'd come in and repair it as well.
So you're saying that there's no point at any point of negative behaviour that we could tell them to take it away before the lease is up?
Well, I think the department would want security in terms of that lease to ensure that their investment is in place over time, and that they'd put in appropriate processes to ensure that any vandalism was repaired.
Thank you.
Councillor Spiljanik.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. I just have a couple of questions with regards to low-income household. Can you remind me roughly what is that? What is the definition of a low-income household?
Batson.
So in regards to this program, they would be offering the discounted electricity program to SA Housing Trust homes.
Excellent, no worries. And with regards to that, I take it there is scope for concession for these members, perhaps for discounts or concessions for electricity or other avenues around our community. With regards to this AGL, those who already have a concession already, do they then get a further 25% off their electricity bill?
So my understanding is the electricity package or scheme, or sorry, I'm forgetting that, is 25% lower than the mandated level that can be charged. So it's a reduced power program based on the state's,
That's okay.
I've forgotten what the term is, but,
Yeah.
but each year the state regulates the market rate, and it's a 25% discount on that market rate.
Okay, and there's, I mean, from a financial point of view, then concession can be applied, perhaps reducing it further.
I'm not sure how concessions work in terms of this program.
No worries. Thank you for that. Look, for me personally, and looking at our community with regards to the innovative ideas, and I think Councillor Baker hit it on the head with regards to new technology in our community. There's a little bit of hesitation, which is completely understandable. Looking at the What We Heard report, there is information there that highlights the reasoning why there is concern, and there's also a reasoning for why that concern doesn't need to be a concern, essentially. This is an innovative idea. What other options can we do to low-income households to lower their electricity? I mean, I'm sure we could debate that all night, and that's probably not so much our role. And state government have clearly come to us and gone, hey, look, we want to help out. And I'm looking at this going, this is an innovative idea. There's only 2 other councils that do this in South Australia, and why not be the third? Second of all, with regards to not serving our community, and Councillor Norris raises a valid point with regards to the community battery, and it doesn't serve the community, it's only a select few community members. I guess I then ask, well, we have community grants, and they don't necessarily serve all the community at that one particular time when those grants are given. So there is eligibility criteria. In this case, it is for our lower home owners, lower household owners, lower household income. Thank you very much, team. And I do think that this would be beneficial in our community.
Thank you, Councillor Janet. Councillor Kerrison, you've already spoken. Are you asking a question?
Yep. Yeah, look, I was just wondering if anyone got more information on the, the wholesale rates going in at minus 2 cents from all those solar producers. It's great that the Housing Trust tenants are getting 25% discount, and I support that. But does anyone have any information on where the other 75 to 77% is going? Is that to AGL? Is that payback on batteries of the state government? Just be interested in that analogy.
Thank you, Councillor Kerrison. I'm just trying to find Mr. Pattinson.
I might just seek clarity in terms of the actual question you're asking. So you're asking, because they're basically charging the battery during the middle of the day when electricity is cheap and then selling it at night, but you believe there's a significant profit that the state would be making above and beyond what is being given to the community. Look, I don't have details over the detailed and financial analysis. I think what the department has indicated to us is that it's going to be quite marginal for AGL in terms of breaking even in terms of the discount they're going to be providing the residents, just based on the cost differential between wholesale prices during the day and selling it at night. And they do fluctuate throughout the year as well. So, for instance, yesterday you would have been actually paying minus $1 to actually export to the grid. So, and last night they're only selling it for 7 cents. So, so from what we understand from Department of Energy and Mining is it's a pretty marginal return on investment for AGL in terms of this. It's they're not making super large profits.
Councillor Tarr.
Thank you, Mayor. At this rate, I'm against the motion, but I have a question. What is the risk of the overheat of a obviously it's a lithium battery, What is the risk of it overheating?
Mr Pattinson.
So again, last week, the Department of Energy and Mining spokesperson talked about the nature of the batteries they're looking to install, that they're of a commercial quality, which have been rolled out in significant batteries across the nation in a variety of environments. By the nature of them, they have a range of fail-safe mechanisms embedded in the system that would minimise the risk of overheating, etc., and sophisticated battery management systems to prevent that. But there is never no guarantee that there couldn't be a overheating incident that occurred.
Okay, thank you. I only asked that question due to the fact that obviously there's a lot of electric cars and electric batteries going into houses to charge things like solar panels and cars, and these have caught fire. Now the fire authorities have advised that a lithium-ion battery cannot be cannot be
Extinguished.
Extinguished is the word, thank you. Cannot be extinguished due to the fact of it's a lithium battery. No one knows how to extinguish it yet. And what concerns me is it's near a grassed area, which does overgrow. And this is an issue because if there was a fire, these will become overheated. And then what happens then? We can't extinguish a lithium-ion battery being on fire near community housing, which is scary, especially for a local community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tarr. Councillor Arifi.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, I think Councillor Baker and I don't always get on the same page, but I do support her sentiments in relation to this. Look, if you look at batteries, essentially, people have their batteries at home. We've got batteries with us, so it's everywhere. This is a new innovation that is going to help our residents with their power prices. I used to work for Concessions SA, and the state government previously had a similar deal with Origin. The government went out on tender, asked all the energy providers to come up with the best electricity discount for low-income households, and Origin was able to come up with the best offer. And that allowed the state government to promote people to sign up to Origin, and in return Origin would get customers coming through and they would get discount, but also their concessions from the state government on top. This is actually going to help our residents. On this occasion, you've got AGL, who's come out with a 25% reduction. Reducing power prices is going to help a lot of people in our community. And yes, as Greg explained, this is a commercial grade battery. There are mechanisms around, ensuring that it's safe, and if it's overheating, AGL will be able to manage that, and switch off externally, and there's appropriate maintenance schedule. So I think not supporting this motion is a missed opportunity. It's only going to help our residents, especially those who are in need. So.
Now, Councillor Norris, you've already spoken. Are you asking a question?
Yep. Couple. Thanks. And you might need to remind me because it could be in here, but I can't remember what I've read. What is the cost of this battery to install as part of the program? I know it's not a cost to council, but what is the cost to install this battery?
Mr Pattinson?
The cost to the state government?
Correct.
I can't answer that, sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
Just trying to understand if it sort of negates the benefit versus the cost.
Yep. My understanding is they have received a significant grant from the federal government to subsidise the installation of the batteries.
Correct, but someone's still paying for it.
Yep.
Yep. Do we have any indication of the dollar value per year of community benefit? I know it says up to $575 per resident. Do we just...
Yeah, so if you work on 575 by 650, around 250 to 300,000 per annum benefit to the community.
Yep. My final question would just be around, obviously we've got regulators in place with pricing, but in terms of community benefit, it could be essentially nullified in a couple of years, could it not, with the continued price rise of utilities and electricity?
So my understanding is they'll continue to get the 25% reduction off a market rate. The market rate may go up, but there still is a ongoing benefit to the community.
Cool. Thank you.
Councillor Bayani.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question. So in the report it says that City of Marion and Campbelltown, they've had this battery for a couple of years. So can I have the exact number of years, how long they've had it? And it says that it's successful, and yeah, can you provide more information on how long they've had it and if they had any concerns, issues, any accidents, incident with the batteries itself?
Mr. Patterson.
So both those batteries have been in place a bit over 12 months. To our knowledge, there's been no incidents with those batteries and no concerns. And the feedback, the initial consultation with those communities, the community was very supportive of those batteries going in place for both councils.
Yeah, thank you so much for the answer. You asked that question specifically because there was lots of, questions, concerns raised regarding to the, different safeties regarding to actual batteries, nuisance, emissions, vandalism, the actual, physical side, as Councillor Hall said. So this is one of those opportunities that we can actually help our residents somehow, and it's going to affect 600 to 700 households, and it doesn't matter how much, it's going to support them in, in some stage. So I'm in supportive of this motion, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Halls, you've spoken. You're asking further questions? Councillor Halls.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just interested to know, once we allow this battery to be installed, there's still a large quantity of land available. Will that remain community recreational, or are we planning, or is it possible we will plan to build houses around it? Or are we, or having the battery there negate any building at all?
Patterson.
The land that the battery is proposed to go on is currently community land, hence why we're now for consultation, hence why we need your approval for the lease to be done. We're talking about 50 square metres approximately of a lease area. I'm not aware of any other plans to transfer that community land into any other use than what the current dry bushland buffer it is.
Thank you.
Councillor Norris, you've already spoken, so further questions? Councillor Norris.
I do, based on what Councillor Hall's just brought up, just based on me saying last week about, you can't put it in someone's backyard, is there a regulated distance from housing that this battery needs to be?
Mr. Patterson.
I'm not sure if there's a regulated distance, but part of the site selection would have considered that. Part of a technical site selection would have considered any of those safety concerns associated with distance from the house. Yep.
Thank you.
Are there any other members wishing to speak or ask questions? If not, Councillor Marsh has the right to close if he wishes.
Thanks, Chair. I just want to close out in saying that great debate, great topics raised tonight, but I think it comes back to local government. How can we play a role in reducing the cost of living across those who are in our community, and regardless of who the 200, 250 are, they're in our community, they want some financial help, and if it means that we can assist with some of our community land to bring some infrastructure in that puts some downward pressure on their utilities, let's support the tech. We've got emergency services here that are experts in responding to tech fires. We've got experts who do planning, and I think we've sold it pretty solidly that we want this infrastructure to look quite, I don't know, not disguised, but let's do our best that we can with, if it's tree canopy, if it's vegetation, if it's the colour of the fence, but remembering local governments here about pulling the levers, if it's planning, if it's regulatory, if it's use of community land, we need to be open to making those decisions. And as I said, regardless of who the 200 or 250 or 500 people that get a benefit on this, they're part of our community, they need financial help, let's support them at the local government level by partnering with this initiative.
Thank you, councillors. We have a motion that's been moved and seconded. It's on the screen. I'll put that. Those in favour? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The motion is carried. Division has been called by Councillor Biani, so the motion is set aside. Those voting for the motion, if you can rise in your place. So voting for the motion is Councillors Marsh, Baker, Onyazans, Arifi, Vanderpeer, Biani, Smiljanic and Craig. So that is carried. We now move on to item 15, staff reports. Item 15.1, City of Playford submission on the Smithfield Regeneration Code Amendment. Just hold on a moment. Just hold on, councillors. I just had the minute taker who's just needing to sort out the previous item. Councillor Arifi voted for the motion in the previous item, not against. I'm just getting this item sorted, councillors. Apologise for the delay. All right, councillors, we move on to item 15.1, City of Playford submission on the Smithfield Regeneration Code Amendment. Councillor Tarr.
Happy to move, don't wish to speak.
Thank you, Councillor Tarr. Does the item find a seconder? Councillor Biani.
Happy to second, don't wish to speak.
Don't wish to speak. Any other councillor wishing to speak? If not, oh, Councillor Norris. Oh no, we've got a whole lot of them. Councillor Norris, I'll go you first. There you go.
Lights up like a Christmas tree. All right. I've had a few concerns and I have addressed these before, but I'm going to go through them again. One of my main concerns, especially on page 74, is that council recommends extending 15-storey maximum height and applying minimum height policies to encourage mixed use and higher density over Manapara Shopping Centre. Now, my concern isn't around growth, it isn't around even developing where they're suggesting. My concern is around antisocial behaviours, about low-income housing, about really high density, overlooking places that already exist, that houses that have been there for, 20, 30, 40 years, now having apartment buildings overlooking their backyards. We've already learnt from the flats and stuff that we've got around the older parts of Elizabeth that there is a lot of antisocial behaviour and they're only a few stories high. Whilst I understand, yes, there will be mixed low income, there will obviously be some grants for people, the essential part of, I guess, where we live is we are low socioeconomic. There are still a lot of things that go on in terms of antisocial behaviour, and I have a real concern for that. I don't want to stick them all in the same area and then you've essentially just got a crime area where people feel unsafe, they don't feel safe in their homes. The other concern we have is around traffic management. You know, there's really not a lot of places you can stick new roads around this development. And even where you try to, essentially it's going to lead to more congestion. Main North Road is already insane during peak hour traffic, and that's essentially not even from like 5 to 6, it's like from 4 to 7. It's absolutely insane. There's so many near misses. The amount of crazy driving that we see in our area, unfortunately, keeps rising. I just think that this hasn't been properly thought out. I think as single dwelling or, you know, even double-storey developments, perfect, maybe even low-rise apartment complexes, but I think 15 stories is absolutely insane from our part, and I just don't think it's going to work the way we want it to. We've seen it happen in other states. You can talk about Redfern, you can talk about different developments where it's just, you know, you stick them all in the same spot, and unfortunately, it's just not a safe place to be, and that's my concern for my residents.
Thank you, Councillor Norris. Councillor Arifi.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Look, I support the staff recommendation and the submission that they have prepared. I think it's an excellent submission. Just had a question in relation to the suggested concept plan, page 85. The two proposed or potential intersections along Main North Road, where the red dotted lines are, is that a recommendation by council, or is that a state government suggestion?
Mr Pattinson.
For infrastructure planning work that informed the actual code amendment, both intersection locations were identified. When the code amendment went out on consultation, it only identified the one through the council reserve. I think from a council's administration perspective is we believe that we shouldn't take either option off the table, but as the master planning work occurs with Renewal SA, that a more thorough traffic assessment is done to determine which is actually the best road and intersection solution. So it's not about locking in a solution now, but identifying potential options moving forward.
Okay, and the signalised intersection on Main North Road hasn't been supported by DIT?
They don't support, at this stage, a four-way intersection. They support a left-in, left-out, but our view is that we should be considering a four-way intersection.
Yep. And the other thing is, with regards to that intersection where you've got the connection to Elizabeth Downs, are you looking at connecting that Main North Road onto Elizabeth Downs? I'm not sure exactly what road is that, but is that going to be a four-way intersection, or?
If you had a four-way intersection, then you could look at that opportunity to cut across to the east. Again, this is to provide indicative options moving forward.
Okay. Yeah. And we are proposing for consideration around 4 to 8 level high density dwellings.
So the policy talks about a maximum height.
Yes.
What actually happens as this develops still needs to be determined.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at moving towards a higher density, what we're suggesting is that there should actually be some minimum height levels to actually drive the outcome you're seeking as well. And we need to, as we move forward, we need to actually think about a less car-dominated development. It's very close to public transport, it's very close to shopping, so it is a perfect site to provide an alternative living style to what we've become accustomed to in low-rise situations.
Yeah. Just another question which a resident has raised around obviously the intersection, well, that section of Main North Road around the Monapara shopping centre. I think it goes from 3 lanes into 2 lanes, where the proposed signalised intersection staff are suggesting. Is there any way that we could, put in the submission for future consideration for a 3-lane along Main North Road all the way to the shopping centre
traffic lights?
So if you went for a detailed design, obviously you need to think about the safety, and obviously going from 3 lanes into 2 lanes near an intersection,
Yes.
very close to that wouldn't be safe, so an appropriate design would need to cater for that. My understanding is DIT's aspiration would be to see 3 lanes along Main North Road in the long term anyway, for the entire length.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, councillors. I would remind councillors, as we're in a formal council meeting, you do need to stand when you're speaking. Councillor Halls.
Thank you, Your Worship. I've been contacted by a few of our residents regarding this setup, this subdivision in question. And I've been reminded by those people about our strategic plan, which our residents, we designed it and the community agreed to it, and they expect us to live up to it. And as my 2 colleagues have reiterated, safety is theme 1, and that is one of the major concerns of theirs about the traffic on Main North Road, and the possibility of traffic lights going in such and having such a short span between each of the traffic lights between Phillip Highway and Curtis Road. And they feel that with all those traffic lights, if they were to be put up, we would have to petition the government, the state government, to put in a lower speed limit than 80, because you could not, if they did all those 2 extra traffic lights, they wouldn't be able to use an 80-kilometre speed limit along Main North Road. And this is not the kind of place that our residents have asked for. When you think about it, there are so many things that they have spoken to me about. The height of 15 storeys. 4 storeys is too far as they're concerned. And they're concerned about the safety of the adjoining roads, because there's 3 roads that would have to be joined across the middle, and they're wondering, does that mean that they would have to choose which one and they'd all be the same road, or they would have to go along the same line and have 3 different names like we do with Coventry and Heytesbury, which they think is ridiculous. They're very concerned about the increase of congestion coming out onto Main North Road within a close span of place from both sets of egresses from there, even if we don't use traffic lights and we just use a left in and left out. There are, at both places, near the end of or the start of slip roads that go into, that come out of Whiteford Road and go into the Manapara Shopping Centre at the petrol station. They're really quite where is it? I've lost my spot. They're also concerned. The other concern that they had was similar about the negative behaviour that would result in multi-stories, as my previous colleague has stated. So I'd just like to bring to everyone's attention that it's a concept plan and not very detailed, and I think it would bear more thinking about. And I commend this on behalf of my residents.
Councillor Small-Smith.
Thank you. I actually took the bull by the horns and went straight to the Minister of Planning with my concerns, because I do have a lot of concerns. I've lived in that area for a long, long time, and I don't like the idea of these 4 stories or 15 stories, and I did express my concern, and I was told that they were not going to be the normal 2 stories what we have around here. They're actually going to be very executive apartment blocks and will be sold. So there's no harm. No one's going to turn it into a ghetto because it's not going to be like that. So my answer to that was, well, I'll believe it when I see it, because the other thing that concerned me when they were talking about Smithfield Memorial Park, which has been there forever, and saying that they wanted to redevelop through there, we can't allow that park to be redeveloped into what? That's what worries me. We've got the football oval there, and they want to do all this redeveloping, and I really don't think that's what we're looking for in the city of Playford. Not to have all of that, because it's just not going to look good. And that particular area, as you heard, I asked the question about the ground, because there's been a lot of activity in that area when the Army Ordnance place was there. There's a lot of stuff that's gone into the ground. There's firefighting stuff and all that. And they didn't seem very fazed by that, and that concerns me. You want to build houses there when there could be something quite lethal in the ground. So I'm not happy with this at all, and I don't believe we've been given enough detail, and I don't want to see something like Memorial Park destroyed and some houses or some high-rise put up there. So I'm actually going to vote against this. I want much more detail before I'm even happy to say yes to anything.
Councillor Van der Peer.
Thanks, Mayor Doherty. I just wanted to address some of the concerns that have been made about antisocial behaviour in high-rise buildings. And in my view, I think antisocial behaviour is a result of development management, not a result of how many stories a building has. And I think a lot of work would be done through the more detailed planning process to ensure, things like lighting, building management, all those sorts of things are incorporated into such potential high-rise buildings. But I do also think this is an opportunity to have a development in our city that is well located and well planned, situated near public transport, situated near shopping centres, arterial roads, things like that. And I think we as a council are the first to complain, and rightly so, about a lot of developments across this city and where they are located and the lack of infrastructure and the lack of public transport that services them. But I think in this particular case, there's a clear effort here to really think about where this development is going and what is near it. So I think we just need to take that into consideration tonight.
Councillor Craig.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I echo Councillor Van der Peer's comments and others. I think if we get it right, there's a lot that's positive about this opportunity. It's got a lot going for it, this location, to be very walkable and right near public transport, right near the shops. That could be very convenient to so many people. So I think it's a great opportunity for our city to take this advantage of growing, of innovation. Hopefully it'll be tastefully developed, and I suppose the idea of high-rise as well, people that are moving there will know that that's one of the options that will be there. So if they're worried about high-rise buildings, well, don't build near the, don't locate or build near the high-rise buildings. It's fairly straightforward, I think.
Councillor Smiljanic.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. I just have a couple of questions with regards to the suggested concept plan revisions on page 85. With regards to the green dotted line that goes over or under the railway, the line there, can I just get, I guess, a bit of a concept of understanding what the intention there would be for council with regards to that particular active transport corridor?
Mr Pattinson.
So when you think about the social services that are available that could support this community, obviously you've got John Hartley School in that direction, we've got the John McVitie Centre in that direction. and then access to Stephen Heath Flow Control Park, etc. So it's really around reinforcing the opportunity to create at least a pedestrian cycling type connection over a railway line, be that at either at grade with appropriately controlled signals or crossing, or even potentially a overpass that could support that connection. So again, you want people in this community to be able to walk to locations, so you want kids to be able to walk safely to the local school.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Councillor Baker.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I think we ought to chalk this one up. I agree with what Councillor Arifi was saying earlier on. and also what Councillor Craig was saying. I think the important thing that we have to look at with this submission is it's littered right the way throughout it with it's a concept design, it's investigation, it's a forward plan for something that is going to be looked at, and it's an amendment that is at this current state only a draft. So I think some of the comments that have been made tonight are putting the cart way before the horse, and what we need to do is to support this. Funnily enough, the Elizabeth Council, and I am going back a long, long time ago, I actually went to Canberra with Mr Tim Jackson at the time to lobby for this area to be transformed into public housing. So that's how long this has been on the notice board. But it is, folks, it is only an investigation, it's only a draft, and it's only a concept plan, and we need to take those things into consideration. If we are going to say no at the beginning, right at the beginning, then it doesn't bode well for the future. And as we all know, housing is absolutely at the top of the agenda at the current moment, and I think it would be very remiss of us if we didn't even look to going along with the state government on a concept plan.
Councillor Norris, you already spoken, so you've got some questions. Councillor Norris.
Yeah, just one. I'm just having a look at page 86 where it talks about traffic generation is on the high side with 6.5 trips per dwelling for medium density developments. I guess my concern would be, and I don't know if there's any studies that we've done considering we don't have a lot of, well, we don't really have any high density developments, but 6.5 trips considering that is already on the higher side and we're going to look at 15-storied apartment blocks, you're going to consider that that's going to lift exponentially, right? 6.5 trips, now it's 10. Again, is that, the 6.5 trips, is that per day, per week? What is that based on?
Mr Pattinson, you're certainly getting your steps up tonight, Mr Pattinson.
I've almost reached 10,000 tonight, so it's good. That's trips per day is my understanding of that figure.
It is
so,
per day.
and our comments around that is we think they've probably underestimated the traffic generation and where it flows within that. And therefore, in their traffic modelling, they should be thinking about what are the appropriate traffic infrastructure upgrades that are required to support this development.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I can't support this, and I'm normally pro-growth and pro-rejuvenating the older areas and support the renewal and uplift, but I'm lost to understand the 30, 40 year, when a decision's made eventually, what the end result looks like. We had staff here, and I said to them about when you plonk people down in our city, what's the future impacts on our social infrastructure? What's the future impact on the open space because it's high density? What's the future impact on these other council services that we continually needed to provide and are struggling to provide? I don't understand this. When it comes to the GARP, we could have gone along a journey, and this is not having a target at all to our staff, but we could have pulled a piece of work together that identifies, here's the GARP, here's the 30-year vision, here's high density, here's the state government's policy of wanting to deliver high density, more housing. They're delivering a transportation policy network that will cater for this growth. I struggle because when we talk about regional and then we talk about wrapping around regional, I think about this place where we're standing being the CBD. I struggle to understand when you're putting something that could have 15 stories, how that could integrate into our community like this. I'm yet to see an example within South Australia or Australia how this has worked. How has it not worked? We could have gone through a series of workshops and really understood the bee's knees of what impacts, but also what benefits would be provided by making such a large, ambitious change, or going on a pathway to change. But this is a message to the state government as well, though. The state government could also change their processes in how they collaborate and how they sit with local government and go along a journey to hopefully get an outcome at what they're achieving. So I think collaboratively this could have been done better, or maybe processes could be improved. I know there's a lot of dots, there's a lot of lines, but how does this actually work in the overall city planning is what I would love to understand. So at this stage, I couldn't support it.
Are there any other councillors wishing to speak? If not, then Councillor Tarr, you have the right to close if you wish.
Thank you. I will close the debate. Look, I think as Councillor Baker and Councillor Arifi and the rest of the room, whoever supported it, do have a good point. It is a draft. If we say no to the state government and the federal government, I'm sure they're going to walk away from the City of Playford and say no to Curtis Road, no to more housing, no helping the low-income earners. Like, hello, let's do something to help these people. Put them in a room, put them in a house that will be a roof over their head to start with. We get more council rates. We get more people in the city. That raises people's house average price around the area. There's transport near there. Come on, everyone.
All right, councillors, we have a motion that's been moved in a second, which is before us. I'll put those in favour. You need to keep your hands up, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those against? The motion is carried. Division has been called by Councillor Tarr, so the motion is set aside. And I ask all those voting for the motion if they could rise in their place. And for the minute taker, we have Councillor Baker, Councillor Onyuzans, Councillor Arifi, Councillor Vanderpeer, Councillor Halls, Councillor Councillor Tarr, Councillor Bayani, Councillor Smiljanic and Councillor Craig voting for the motion. The motion is carried. Councillors, we move on to item 15.2, Corporate Governance Committee Communique, on page 92. Councillor Halls.
I'll move the staff recommendation, please.
Moved by Councillor Halls. Is it find a seconder? Councillor Onyuzans.
Happy to second that, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Onyuzans. Does anyone else wish to speak? I'm presuming the mover and seconder aren't. Is there any other people wishing to speak? If not, then I'll put those in favour. Those against, I declare that carried. Move to item 15.3, Budget Update Report, page 95. Does someone wish to move something? Councillor Baker.
Move the recommendation, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Baker. Does it find a seconder? Councillor Bayani.
Yeah, happy to second. Don't wish to speak. Thank
you. Any other councillors wishing to speak? If not, then I'll put those in favour. Those against, I declare that carried. We have no informal discussion. We have no confidential items. Before I close the meeting, I wish you all a very blessed and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and thank you for the service to the City of Playford, and I'll close the meeting at 9:57 p.m. Thank you for your attendance.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.